205 or you were looking for that support. So on that one, you're coming across on that support. What time frame were you starting off on?
Yeah, the 1 hour. I was looking at the 1 hour, then the 15 minute. But on this particular, since I was already kind of looking at this yesterday, um, and I noticed that it was like around 2:05. I just got in. I didn't even look at any of the time frames.
Yeah, well, yeah. So some of it, like, that's why we're kind of covering for the guys. Like, all right, so um, when you're kind of like piecing together a puzzle, you know what I'm saying? So I took a look here and I was looking at the support, and there was some support and resistance on that first big move it had at about $1.91. So that was kind of like the area I was expecting for it to fall down through if it broke the 200 moving average, which was at 204, right? So a lot of guys, if you're looking at, trades and possibilities, right? It's always good to understand like what most people are looking for, right? So most people, you have a couple different types of styles of traders, right? So you have your um, what we call moving average, right? Moving average, right? So moving average is normally a trader that'll play a moving average, and that's a small percent of people, but it's kind of like where a lot of people like to see support, and then you have another set of people that place support and resistance lines on the whole, and then you have, and that's a little bit higher of people, and then you have a bigger amount of people which play a scenario that's Fibonacci's, right? So anytime that you get a scenario where is playing out where you have a collaboration where 200 moving average is also moving in with a um, support and resistance, and then happens to be sitting on a Fibonacci, right? So Fibonacci's, just so you guys know, the biggest Fibonacci's you're going to use are going to be the zero point 0.5 line and the 0.618. Those are the zero point 0.5 is normally your number one scenario for people to use for support, resistance, and so forth, right? That's where they will set a lot of orders. And that's what we're kind of seeing here. So on the 1 hour, we can see where the 0.15 is sitting at where we're at right now, 212. And the other line that they love to play off of is a 618, right? So that one's already been hit. That was the earlier hit at 214. So that would have been the actual short that we would have been looking for, is when it did its original pullback, right? So all trades move two ways, right? Down and up, but they're always two moves, right? So you can see here on the one, if you go to your 1 hour, you'll see where there was a big move to the downside. It hit the support at the 205, and that's where Carlos was actually, looking at his long this morning, and he caught that push. Now the push is the target where those guys are going to push up, and normally they're going to go for a 618, and they hit their 618. That would have been Tony. What up, baby? That would have been the reversal into where we're at now, right? So when you kind of have that in mind, that very simple scenario, then you can get where you can kind of like set yourself up for at least an idea of where you think something is going, right? Now, how we piece this together is we would come in here and uh, set the alerts and so forth. And it's same scenario, 1 hour. Now, we didn't get I was actually shorting this, and shit, we were trading the shit out of this last night. But one thing I noticed is ARB came in with that red green moon, a moon reset. So the original trade was way back here. So the original trade came in at $2.02, um, and came in. We caught our green moon, right? Had a nice little bounce. That peak was beautiful, way down to 201, right? And then we caught a green trend. So notice if you guys look at your 1 hour, you had that push up, and then it came back down, right? There's always two moves. The moon is one move up, and then the pullback to the trend, and then the trend is your second move up, right? That's kind of how the trades go, right? So all trades make those moves. So now that would have came up, gave us a nice little move, and then we would be thinking to ourselves, once we get a red moon, we would take profits. The first red moon came in, gave us a nice pullback. Then the next green moon came in, gave us that big pump. And then what was weird is this is kind of where we were setting up here is that I didn't see last night. This is where we didn't get a trend. So we had the red moon came in, but the trend failed to come in, even though it was a big dump. Like that was curious to me, right? Because there was a huge dump, but we couldn't flip the 1 hour trend. And then that's where it hit the 200 moving average, and Carlos was kind of like scouting that out already. So are you, is that what so walk me through like, what's a basic game plan just so, you kind of have an idea of like, what do you like to look for to kind of give yourself an idea of what's up and down?
So what I do is just see where how it's looking. See if if the market gets on an upward trend or then it's on a downtrend, and then start just like in this particular case, I was looking at ARB yesterday, and so I got in. I think it was like around 207, and then it just ended up just like taking my stop loss out, and so I was like whatever. So the next entry that I was looking at, it was like around 205,
Mm.
and then I missed it, and it went up. Like I said, and then today when I woke up, then it was around 205, and then so I just got in because that's what I was looking at yesterday, and like I said, I just didn't do anything. And then since I noticed that it was pumping, that it was going up, then clearly it's on an upward trend. The market was on an upward trend, so I was just looking for the ones that were running behind, and that's how I did it.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what time frame you normally looking at? We're an ARB,
I
guys.
start
ARB.
ARB was a 3 minute. So this morning when I seen is it was like yeah, it dumped. So I waited for the 3 minute green moon, and that's where I got in.
So to find the trends, right, or to kind of like, when you're browsing through, right, what's the time frame that you're starting on just to look around and say, okay, where's some support, where's some resistance? Are you using the 1 hour for that?
Yeah, the 1 hour or the 15 minute, either or.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right, let's see.
I know they're two different time frames, but
Hmm.
it just depends.
And
So
time.
like this morning, since I noticed that the 3 minute was already it was going up, then I started looking for other 3 minutes that were down,
Mhm.
and also just the 15 minutes that they were down, and then that's where I made a decision to just start getting into positions.
Mhm. Now you're doing what's the average bag? Are you doing a 500 bag or $1,000 bag?
Sometimes I just right now just doing like 500 or 300.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So your initial, right? Because I like to do like 30% entry, and then every time it pulls back, if I'm negative 10%, I do another 20% entry, and then I'll buy into that until I see the momentum, or let's say if I'm waiting for a 5 minute RSI to reset, I'll let it come all the way down, and then I'll put another 20.
Hmm.
So I'm always buying the 5 minute reset. So what do you start off with like a 20%, 30%, or what's your normal entry?
I opened it with like $100,
Mhm.
whatever it is, because I don't do percent, because I just do 100,
Okay.
120-ish, whatever, and then I just get in, and then just depends on where it's heading, or if it's going my way, then I just add another 20% to it.
Okay.
Then I set once it goes on the positive, then set my stop loss to, let's say if it goes up 10%, then I set my stop loss at 5%, right? And then if it goes down and it hits my stop loss, then I just do like a 50% stop loss, and then just wait for it to go down, and that's when I add more.
Hmm.
Or sometimes if it's just if I know it's going my way, which I don't recommend doing this, then I just start off with 100 and then do the auto margin, and then when it's about 80% or whatever, then that's where I set my stop loss at 80%,
Okay.
and then just start adding to it.
All right. So, all right, everyone's starting off 1 hour, finding some basic supports, just to give an idea. So You know, because a lot of times guys will be like, man, what's Carlos doing? I'm like, well, Carlos, he's using the system. It's just how your brain thinks about it, right? So he's got a simple plan, and that's kind of where we want to cover now is like, now how do we get to a basic plan, right? So the basic plan is always start off on the 1 hour because that's normally where we're going to trade anyway. So we're going to trade a 1 hour moon, a 1 hour trend. So you can kind of take a peek and see what's already happening, right? So 1 hour red moon, 1 hour red trend. Obviously, you're looking for a reversal, right? Over here, we have on ARB, we have a 1 hour green moon going back into a green trend. But this is like the fourth time that it's done this. So for us, it's kind of like it's getting weak, right? So once you establish some key points of interest, right, could be a support line on the 200 moving average, could be a consolidation area, some further weeks like wicks and stuff like that, just to give you an idea of like what's coming around, right? Now, he was tracking ARB yesterday, and he had a pullback on the 1 hour, but it didn't go all the way where he wanted. He got in a little early, kind of stopped out, and it did what it was in the consolidation period right there. It kind of went sideways for a while, and that's kind of where you're running. And I was actually trading this at that time. 1 hour moon came in. We had a trend come in, kind of move sideways, but it took a while. So I was in that first big move, like we got a red moon, but we never got that trend, even though we had a big dump. And then it finally got a trend, which was at the end of its exhaustion. And then the 1 hour RSI was on its way pushing back up. So that's when we got a reversal to the top, and we went right back into the same scenario. One thing I kept seeing with it, it kept finding support, kept wanting to go sideways here at like 214, right? It's a very, very heavy support line, for it. And, it's not really breaking down below that. We can see here we went to 205. So that's where Carlos caught the bounce off the 200 moving average. But once again, what did it go to? 217, 214 area. Hits the same 219, 217 area and gets held up again. So there's, when you see something like this really isn't a normal 1 hour scenario, but sometimes you have a coin that has a lot of support, and that's kind of what we're running into here is that they have a lot of support at the 211 up to the 219 area. There's a big consolidation area there. So what you guys can do is once you find some areas of, moving averages and stuff like that, kind of gives you an idea of what you can aim for a target. And then what Carlos, likes to do, he always plays the 15-minute, right? So the 15-minute will give him ideas of like, he's looking for a 15-minute red moon, 15-minute green moon, moon and trends right away. That allows him to take advantage of the trades. And you can see he woke up this morning, and right as when he woke up, he saw the price that he was looking for yesterday, and he walked right into a 15-minute green moon. So it's kind of like it's set right up for you. The moon is just his confirmation to say, yo, you're right. So now he can be more confident in the trade he's making because he's getting confirmation with his indicator saying, hey, man, your 205 came in, looks great, and you got a moon coming in. So now you got that trade. Then he gets a trend hit, gets that push, and then we get a little bit of resistance there. But all trades, they work the same. 15-minute moon comes in, there's a push to the upside, there's a pullback, the pullback comes, the trend hits, and then after the trend hits, that's kind of where you look at for the exhaustion of that one move, right? So the next move would have been to slide down to the 30-minute and look for the exact same trade except for the 30-minute. We got the moon, and it happened at almost the same time as the 15. So the one thing is when I see moons on multiple time frames kind of come together and they hit at the same time, kind of lets me know that it's like it's almost like an avalanche of support, but it's not a steady avalanche. Like you like to see a coin building momentum. This one is kind of like a pump, right? Like a pump and dump, right? Multiple moons. So once I seen that 30 on there, I know the next move is going to be a 30-minute green trend, right? So you can go there, set an alert on the green trend, set it for a long position, because that's really where you want to be as far as like seeing if it's gonna produce more momentum, right? Now the second thing I want to look at is I jump down to my 1 hour and I see the 1 hour is also already ticked off, right? So now I have 15, 30, and 1 hour, right? It's kind of like an exhaustion point. So now I know I'm dealing with a very kind of like an avalanche of a flow of volume. So normally that's going to kind of like pan out to where it goes sideways. And that's where we see on the 15-minute, we got that push, but there's not like continuation of trades, right? There's not like, okay, 15-minute moon, 15-minute trend, big push, starts to pull back. Oh, we have a 15-minute moon now. Second push, trend comes in. Next push, and it pulls back. 45-minute moon and trend, right? That's like a staircase move, right? This one is kind of like hit us all at once, then it's pulling back, and now it's kind of like finding consolidation, but they've already exhausted the trades, right? There's not too many more trades that we can get in this position. So now, in order for it to create trades, it needs to kind of like, fall back a little bit. So that's where you see something and you can get a little more like, all right, so here we're all we really need here is that 15-minute moon to come down to its spot, and then we'll see a pretty heavy drop here, right? So that's kind of how we look at it, is that it's already exhausted a little bit. So it's already kind of pushed its way through, and that's where the volume is kind of lacking here. So, but that's a way you guys can find some support and resistance, is looking for that, 1 hour support area. Your 15-minute moon will give you the confirmation of what you think your trade is, and then you take advantage of that move. So what else are you normally doing, brother? Is that kind of like the basics right there?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And then once I do that, and if there's those patterns, then I just look for the same thing. There's ones that are either running ahead or they're going behind. And so just start looking for the same patterns, and then that's it. I just get into those. I don't, when I see the kind of the same pattern, I just get in. I don't even look at anything no more. I just get in because that kind of follows the same pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. That's just how I do it.
So are you playing the two move, right? You got a moon and then the trend, and then you're kind of like, all right, now I got to see the next, yeah. So let's see here. Now they're talking about a coin called Nex. Is that on Mexi? Oh, let me see. Nah, it's not on here. So what I was saying, like for the guys, is hopping in, getting in the live channels, and then kind of like getting confirmation of walkthroughs. I mean, very, very simple system to have, and then just rinse and repeat. So once you have once you see a pattern that you like, you're just repeating the pattern over and over. So using the 1 hour to find some support levels, and then the 15-minute to validate entries. All right, so that way you have targets and then you have entries. I was going to dump right here. I wish we could trade next. Let's see what it's on. So next is on, it's in MEXC, but it's only on spot. Let's see, .p. Yeah, it's not in anything. But that's going to come down. Pullback coming. Let me take a picture. So that's a solid, so the one thing about Carlos is, for you guys, it's like when Carlos is posting, I know I can easily look at a trade. I know exactly what he's doing, right? And that's the kind of the key to it, is that, when you have that system that you're following, and then you're kind of like, finding the rhythm that you like with the system, you put yourself where it's easy for me to look at and go, oh, okay, and track things, and then, look at what he's posting, right? So setups and plays and simple things, and then it's the same pattern for him over and over. So once he finds that winning, pattern, he just finds it, locates it, jumps in his 15, looks for his moons and trends, and then just rides it out. Are you how are you pulling off the uh, are you hitting certain targets for your ups? Are you taking like a 3 minute moon and trend and getting out of trades, or what are you looking for?
It just depends if I'm doing anything. If I'm whether if I'm driving or if I'm about to go somewhere,
Hmm.
then I just wait for sometimes if I know that the 15 is at the bottom, then I just kind of wait for the set alarms on the RSI just when it gets to 90, 95, and then I just sell at that point, and then I don't look at anything else. So it just kind of depends what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think when you have more time to kind of like watch it play out, you have some things. For me, I like to always have a um, some type of thing where I go, okay, at this point, same thing with as you guys move along, I like to have two moves, right? So any type of big move, I have the first 3 minute moon, right? And then if it gets a trend, the next moon comes in, and then that second moon is where I get out, right? So normally on a 15 minute, if I'm in a longer trade, it's the second 15-minute moon that I get out, right? Or, it's kind of like the basis. So second 3 minute moon, I'll get out. Second 15-minute moon, red moon, I'll get out. And
Yeah,
the
it works too.
yeah, because I mean, I'm always thinking to myself like, there's always two moves, right? You got the first move, and then you got the people that miss the first move. They always want to get a retest or, a support or something like that. And then the only the only the only one I really take serious is if I'm in a big trade is the 1 hour, right? The 1 hour moon comes in, I get out because that has a lot of momentum, and that could be a big pullback, and then I just get in on the green moon as it comes back in, and then I close out on the next 1 hour moon. So, let's go look at Solana real quick. You want to look at Solana? You still buying Sol, bro? Sol, bro. Hmm. So let's run through a basic here. So, what are you looking at right now? I'm going to look at Solana. Carlos, do you want to take a look there and kind of like walk me through an ideal of what you would look at or what you see there?
See, like, let's see. So usually when they're like this, they don't. They're turning. They are trading sideways, right? And it's hard to
Mhm.
tell which direction they're actually heading. Well, in my case, I don't know.
No, no, yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
yeah.
hard to tell which way it's going. And so, especially Solana, had bad experiences with Solana.
Yeah, Solana. Yeah. So, what would you?
I would probably just wait for a confirmation of something like, okay, so you have your 15-minute red moon, right?
Mhm.
I would probably just wait for a trend or
Mhm.
or same thing with the 3 minute. Okay, so the 3 minutes going up, not just there's a moon. I would probably wait for to see if there's a trend, a 3 minute trend, a confirmed trend, and then because sometimes there's like you see a pop, but just doesn't stay there, right?
Mhm.
And then just from there, just make a decision.
Yeah, because it has some like when you break it down. Let's say we take a look at the 1 hour, right? We know that they've had a lot of support and a lot of wicks that came down to about the 94.11 area, right? So you see that big wick come down, and that's also hitting a 786, right? So that means that that's the target. Now halfway from where it pulled up, we can see that there's sitting at 95.64, which would be the first move in, and then the second would be 61.18, right? So to me, those are two targets that we're looking at for a pullback, right? So first scenario is I do have a 1 hour red moon. I see where the original 1 hour came in, and it's the first move, right? So you see on the 1 hour how we had that first big move down. Then we would want to catch that push up to the next move and catch that second move down, which would have been where you see how the on the moon, you see how we have the money line is breaking down there. It rejects from a green moon. That's the second trade that we can take advantage of, right? So now, uh-huh. So go to your 1 hour.
Did you say the 1 hour, the 786, the 94 price, was it?
Yeah, 94.13.
Yeah, to catch it on the way back up. Right.
Yeah. So the first move is obviously, so it's always two moves, right? So the first move is you get a moon, right? So you're gonna get some type of alert in here. The moon alert would have came in a little bit earlier, and then when it hit, I was already like, and this was kind of weird yesterday, man. This was some heavy manipulation because did you notice this, guys? Where we were getting big dips, and then the moon was like, you know, kind of like behind three red candles versus being on one candle. You know what I mean? Like I seen that yesterday where we were getting there was one coin that dipped and it didn't even have a red candle or a red moon. Did you guys notice that yesterday? Was that just me? You know, I was kind of like, Erica, what's up, Erica? Welcome in, Erica. How are you? So, so first move is we always have like these two moves, right? So first move comes in, we have the 1 hour. It comes a little bit later. We would have caught it somewhere on this third candle, and maybe that's because you see the moving average, see that 200 moving average horse on the 1 hour on Sol. It found support there, right? So once that kind of has that support area and it starts pushing a little bit higher there, we get the 1 hour alert. We would have been getting the 1 hour alert, and then because we have the 1 hour RSI crossing, we would have, try to catch that push on the 97.30, 97.27 area because it kind of like hit that area twice on its push up, right? That would have been that first move. Now, if you miss that move, it comes down, it taps the 786, right? So normally it's going to tap the 5 line, which it did on the next candle. It tapped 95.64, pushed back up. The next candle comes down, breaks the 618, wicks all the way down to 786, which is an aggressive move. And then from there, if I would have seen this, big candle hit that 786, I would have actually gone long on this from that point because it's already broken the 5, the 618, and it's touching the 786. So it's really like there's nothing to do here but bounce, right? So we get that bounce there, and now what I'm waiting for is when it has that big bounce, I'm waiting for the 1 hour RSI to then make its move down again, right? So you can see there where it started pushing up and it started to crack around the 96, 92, right? So let me pull up there. So at this point, I already have the 1 hour move. I'm really looking for a 1 hour trend, which I don't have yet. I would be sliding into the 15-minute, right? So this is what Carlos is talking about is once he kind of has an idea of what he's looking at there, then he's going to his 15-minute because he's going to be playing the 15-minute as the leader, right? Is that right, Carlos? Is that kind of how you look at it as the next step to it? So slide down to the 15-minute. And at this point, we know the 1 hour is pushing up. So the only thing we really need here at that point would be a 15-minute green moon. You can see there. So on that big move down, that aggressive move down, go to your 15-minute horse, right? You can see where it hits a support line. If you get a 15-minute green moon there, that's the bounce, right? So that's kind of where setting your alerts up for yourself. As soon as you see what's happening, you set the long and the short alerts, right? Because what they tell you is if you're on the 1 hour, and then you go to your 15 and then your 3-minute, right? You set those two alerts. The 15-minute moon lets you know if there's a bounce. 3-minute trend and moon or trend lets you know that it's confirmed, right? So you would have caught this 15-minute moon, which would have been this nice little bounce. And then the next play would be to wait for the 15-minute moon to come back, which it does. And that triggers at about 96.79. And that's kind of where you're at right now. So it's in the middle of this consolidation move where, You're sitting in this 1% pocket here. So you're kind of in a hold position on Solana. That's what we are just talking about. Like when you look at it, we don't really know which direction it wants to go. It's because if you go back and you kind of walk the steps again, your 1 hour is confirming, a down movement with the RSI and the money line and the moon, but there's no trend, and it's been going sideways for a while without getting a trend. So more than likely, it's probably gonna, go up because it's finding support, right? That's kind of a way to look at it. It's like once you don't have the things that you want in one way, it's going to go the other. And that's kind of what's happening in ARB. ARB is finding like we keep getting these, stabs to the downside, but in reality, it keeps, recovering to the upside. So it's finding more support. So even though we're getting those big liquidity pulls down, it's finding support to the upside. Solana's kind of doing the same thing, where it's the 15-minute moon should be breaking down and the trend should be coming in here, but we're not getting the trend, and now it's finding its footing here, right? So then the next move for us would be, all right, you need a 3-minute moon and trend to consolidate to the upside, which is what you're getting right now. So that's kind of how to move through the coin and say, okay, this is that kind of reversal. But for us, like what Carlos was saying, like there's no true direction right now because we know we have a moon, but what he's looking for is he wants a 3-minute moon, which he has. And the next step from there is going to be catching a 3-minute trend. Yo, what's going on, brother? Hello? Hello, hello? All right. So the next move would be catching a 3-minute trend on Solana. And then we can go back and say, okay, this is the beginning of the reversal. Then we can look at the 15. Now here we can see the 15-minute getting momentum. It's kind of dying off on the volume. So we're really just sitting in this consolidation pocket. But we need some confirmation, right? So Carlos, on here, walk me through kind of like what you're looking at. What would be confirmation for you for Solana for a direction?
So I was just gonna add a picture, cause to the Discord, cause that's what I was that's just what I was looking at. Hold on. So you see, there's a yellow box right there in the Discord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will probably just look to see where around that to see if it hits within that box. And then from there, I will just see where if there's any trends. Either it goes up or it's passes that box, then it goes on a downtrend. That's probably what I would do. So I noticed that those two red candles on the 15-minute were dumped earlier. It usually hits that twice
Mm-hmm.
before it goes up or it goes down.
Right. Because I know you like to find like
So
a pattern of like, growth, right? So this is a good thing here, right? So it's like you have two, unfortunately, sit in the middle of both options, right? We'd rather have it see it pump up to that, previous high, and then we know the rejection is there, and we can get into a short, which will take us back to that yellow box. And then once we're in that yellow box, we'd be looking for a reversal to go back up the other direction, right?
whichever way, from there it'll either if it goes beyond the box, then that's a reversal. It goes short, or if it gets like it stays within the box, then it's for a long.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
And sometimes, guys, you just when you get to a coin, you're just like, all right, you put it in your books and say, okay, you mark the chart and you say, all right, if you get this area, I know I'm looking for a bounce from here to the upside or a continuation of a short, and then you can move on with your charts because then you already have something in your mind. You have an ideal of what you want to see, and then if you wake up one morning and it's there, you're like, oh, okay, that's what I've been looking for, right? And that's kind of like the basis of it. So let's see here. Trying to see if we have any alerts on the coins here. Anthony, You all right, brother? Let's see here. My man out there traveling, catching COVID. All right. All right, so right now we're getting a lot of green moons, right? So if I'm looking at the alerts here, we have CFX green moon, CFX green moon, CFX green moon. All right, so that let me know the market's Loom 1 hour green trend, ID 1 hour green moon, AGLD 1 hour green moon. Oh, we got a shift of the moon. All right, so let's go take a look at, I think AGLD would be like anybody trade that AGLD? I used to trade that a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't think
All right, so here we can take a quick peek. We already see the 15-minute, pull down, and we have a green moon on the 1 hour. So now we know that we're kind of going in here looking for that 1 hour move. Slide down. Let's go look and see if the 1 hour came in. Okay, so far, you got a 1 hour moon come in, 1 hour trend. That's the first move. Now you're getting a pullback. Now we don't know how far this pullback will go, but normally after that, the next trade that we'd be looking for is kind of like the 2 hour, right? And this would be a 2 hour moon, 2 hour trend. So currently we don't have a trend on the 2 hour, but you have a pullback right now. So we have a 1 hour red moon popped up. That's the pullback. RSIs are there. Slide down, look at the 15-minute, and we got our 15-minute, but we missed our 15-minute moon entry, and then the second entry is on the trend. So we missed this short here, and now we're waiting for that reversal side, right? So this is where we can come out, pull out a little bit, go to the 1 hour, and see if we can get some support and resistance. So here, I would look at the 200 moving average, and I would say, okay, here's a pullback. I would expect it to hit the 200 moving average. Now that 200 moving average is also sitting on a 786, right? So minimum pullback would be the 618 in the middle, and then the smallest would be the 5 line, which is $1.3382, right? So now that I have that kind of in my mind, I can slide over to my 30-minute, and I can see where the 30-minute RSI is at, right? So we can see the 30 minutes already digging in, kind of like finding some support there. So this is where, take a look at AGLD, Carlos, let me know like what you would see there. And the other thing I see here, guys, is my Fibonacci's are upside down on my 30-minute, which normally means I'm going to bounce here. All right, so if I look at the 15, I can see a hell of a lot of support coming on the 618, and the 200 moving average is slightly below that at $1.3550, but it didn't touch it, right? So it didn't use it for support, and now it's moving sideways. It's at the bottom, and now what I'm looking for, to me, this is kind of like a sign of a move to kind of like move the other direction, right? So now I look at this, I can say, okay, what is it?
I will probably long this. So I will probably just wait for the 3 minute and trend, and see the 15 is at the bottom. See what the 1 hour.
Yeah, because you got two.
1 hour is gonna looks like it's curving.
Yeah, because you got two things. So first, guys, just the basics, right? If you look at the 1 hour, the 1 hour is curving, right? So that's kind of like a thing where we say, oh, okay, now we go to our 15-minute. It's already at the bottom, right? Then we go to our 30-minute, and now that's at the bottom. So we got these things leveled out. So now that's where we would look at this and kind of like say, okay, this is probably going to find its bounce here on the overall. So now what I need to know is like what trades are missing, right? And this is what I tell you guys, that once trades happen, then they're kind of over. So you go to the 3-minute here, all right? I'm sure Carlos already did. He's looking at the 3-minute, and he's looking at where's my moon at, right? And we can see here we had a rejection of the moon right there. We are sitting below that 200 moving average. So that's where, for me, it needs to break above that for support. Now, because you do have a moving average right there, it's kind of nice because it allows you to kind of have an area where you can say, okay, if I get above that, I'm in a good spot. And the fact that you're below it lets you know that once you break below it, it's going to reject it a couple times, right? And we can already see it broke below, it hit it, it rejected, and then it just hit it again and rejected. So this pullback here, there is a 3-minute trend that's coming up, right? So we have a 3-minute trend line off of before this pump, the beginning of the first pump, the pullback, and then that big pump, right? So this pullback or this trend line right now is sitting at about $1.3544, right? Which is where we would assume that we would probably pull back and touch. So that's where I would be looking at for an entry at about $1.35.5, 1355. And then I would expect it to bounce from that.
Yeah, 130. I was thinking to get 135.10. That's where I was
Yeah.
thinking about my entry.
So now,
That's where the trend line is.
yeah, that's where the 3-minute trend is. Plus we have, we're also looking at the 2-minute the 15-minute RSI and all those other things kind of playing out there. So we have a lot of, extras in our favor there. And that's kind of where we're looking at. So just kind of give you guys an idea of how to, kind of look at something and go, all right, where would I entry be, right? So Horst, if you look at the 3-minute, the previous pump started off at $1.3136. It pushed up on the 3-minute with a green trend, became a red trend. The 3-minute red trend came down and hit another candle. Those 2 points would be your trend line. And then when you roll those up, you can see as we push it forward, they're going to come into a scenario about $1.35.5, right? Which would be the next move for this to the upside. So it looks like the market is starting to pick up momentum, but this is where you can kind of like set yourself up. Now, the only thing for me would be I'd want the 3-minute RSI to hit the bottom, and then that's where I would start, participating in entries for that move right there. So that's what I would be looking at. So it looks like we are getting some moves to the upside. So let's see here.
So since we noticed that everything is kind of going up, then I started looking for this pattern as a LGLD. Then, I start scanning and see what other ones are running behind and look for this pattern on a different one.
Right. So kind of picking up, right? So yeah, let me see here. So AGLD is coming down. So we'll come back over here. Our ARB broke through our 3-minute line there, our 3-minute support on the moving average. So now we're long. So ARB is going into a long. Now we can see the whole market is starting to pick up momentum. Let's see this AGLD. Get along in AGLD. This is where we talk about. So now what's important is kind of like setting it up to, how do you buy in, right? So Carlos likes to put like $100 in and then, kind of start himself off in that scenario. Me, I normally start off at, depending on what I'm getting into. So here I would be, let's open up this long here. So I always have an entry slightly below where it is, and then I kind of like play into the entries there. And then every time I pull back, so 20%. So right now I would be put about 20% into the entry, about 20, $30 of the 100. And it all depends on the momentum, right? So right now I'm just waiting for the AGLD to kind of like have its 3-minute moment. And the RSI right now is at the bottom. So this is where I would start picking up positioning here.
Or sometimes, like how it is right here. I don't know. I would just enter like just my full position on this, and then just set a stop loss on this one. I would probably set a stop loss at, I don't know, 34.63. 134.63.
Stop loss.
Yeah. So I already put my buying order 35.11, and I set my stop loss.
You got in at 135.11.
Why?
Did you put in at 135.11?
Huh?
135.11.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Did you enter at
Ah, yeah, yeah.
135.11?
Well, that's where I put my order in at that price. It's not there yet. So if it hits, good. If no, then that's fine.
Right, yeah, I would. Yeah.
But even at that, I already have a stop loss within the order.
Yeah.
Because there's an option there to do like you take profit and stop loss when you put the order. So that's what I did. And so I have my order at 364. Wait, yeah, 134.64. That's where I have it at stop loss.
Right. Okay.
And what he's doing is
If it hits, good. If no, then I just wait. If it doesn't hit that part, then that's fine. Whichever comes first. If it doesn't hit, then I just wait for the moon and trend.
And then you enter then.
so what's your entry on AGLD?
Mine?
Mm-hmm. What do you target at right now? You're doing
130. Wait, let me see where.
135.4 or 135.5?
135.11. That's where I have it at.
Okay. And what he's doing, Horst, is he's just, he's getting himself into discipline, right? So it's always like, okay, we haven't on AGLD, right? We're still waiting for the 3-minute red moon or for 3-minute green moon, 3-minute green trend, right? But because he was looking at his trend line, he can see that he has an entry point where he kind of has a pullback to 135.11, right? So what he's doing is he's just anticipating that, okay, until I get my alert to the upside, let me go ahead and try to steal an entry. Yeah. Yeah, because the lowest, there's a couple wicks on the 3-minute. If you look at the 3-minute, right, you have a couple wicks there at 135.53. So that's kind of where I would set, and I would put mine at like 135.6 and be like, okay, that's the normal entry. And then if I got a little more greedy, I'd go down to the moving or my trend, which would be 135.4. All right, so that's where I would be looking for that there. Now for me, on the pullbacks, like on the 3-minute RSIs, when that 3-minute RSI came down, I put an entry there. So what I'm doing is I'm buying the bottom of the RSIs on the 3-minute. So that gave me an entry at like 135.74, right? Now, the reason why Carlos has that where he puts it down is because he's an aggressive trader. So what he has to do is like he's just working. This is something we worked on before, was just like getting greedy with the entries, right? And what he's probably been seeing, like, so what, since you've been kind of putting those entries down below, man, what have you been seeing from that, Carlos?
I mean, not always hits, but it gets close, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of like does that kind of let you, give a little more patient where you're like, all right, that was close there. I mean, obviously we see the results. So we see Carlos, he's $1,000 trade here, so he's not, the thing about that is that when he knows that even though he doesn't get that trade in, he's like, he's not worried about it because he knows the trade that does get hit gives him the money that he was looking for. So he's like, yeah, either way I win. All right. So it just creates.
That's kind of what happened yesterday with ARB. It hits my stop loss, and I didn't chase it. I was just like, whatever. So I just let it go. And then today, when I woke up in the morning, that's when when I seen that it was at the whatever entry at 205, and I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Came back to you. Came back to you.
yeah,
You were happy with yourself.
yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of like,
We were talking, and I noticed too the pattern on ARB was turning long. So I opened on long right now, and I'm up 90%.
mhm. And this just comes down like, so guys, like a lot of times I think like the mindset and like how we're, coming into the system you got to find a way to, use your indicators and everything in a way that kind of allows you to kind of like repeat it every time. So that way, when you get in that position, it's like, all right, I'm following these steps, right? But these are steps that you build, right? And this is kind of where Carlos is at right now, where we spend, sometimes we sit there and we'll talk over what he was trading, and then kind of just like, all right, well, this is a normal step for you, right? So he starts, it's just a step that makes sense in his mind on what he's doing. And then when he starts seeing the results, he's like, oh, okay, yeah. So before he would have been missed an ARB trade. He'd be like, man, I got to get in there, and he would have chased it, right? And that would have put him, in a situation where he might have lost $200-300, maybe four, maybe 1,000, right? We never know. And instead, he was like, oh, okay, I'll get you next time. And then the next morning, he wakes up, and then boom, the same trade he was waiting for the day before is now inside his lap. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, and then you take advantage of it, and it's like, now you feel good about that trade because at the end of it, you're like, you were patient. It took a day to come back to you, but you learn that it always comes back to you, and then you sit there and you're like, all right, that trade came back to me, perfect. And then what was that? What that trade? What was it like? 2,000 on there. So I mean, if someone said, hey, you got to wait one day to make 2,000, I mean, could you wait? you know, yeah. Yeah, so that's the whole point is like once we start finding the steps that we start being patient and working our way in and realize that every trade comes back, right? Whether it's the next day or the next day, and that same setup happens again. And when you catch the setup, that's where you see your success. And then when you start catching those setups, you're just in a position where you're constantly like, all right, I'm starting. Carlos has a very clear ideal of what he's looking for. He looks for the support and resistance. He knows there's a buy zone. Then he puts a buy zone in. He's like, all right, I'll come back when you see that. And then while he's waiting for something to happen, when he sees the reversal happening, right? Then he turns around and he's like, oh, this is a long, or like ARB. We sat here looking at it. It was in a consolidation mode, right? It kept giving us. I mean, I hit 50% on those wicks to the downside like 4 times, 5 times, and all of a sudden it finally built its momentum, and people realize there was supports in that area, and then they start reversing. Sometimes they find support there and they dump because they don't think it's going to go up, right? And they're like, oh, I'm going steady here. That one happened to turn the other direction, and then all of a sudden, well, he took what were you 90% on ARB? So he takes a 90% move just for being patient. You know what I mean? So by not forcing a trade, it just puts him in a position where he's, taking advantage of the trade, right? And that's kind of like the beauty of having, an ideal of what he wants to build, right? So for him, if he's sitting there, he's looking, for the 3 minute. He got the 3 minute on ARB. Then he got the trend on ARB, right? To him, in his mind, that's like, okay, this is what I wanted to see. Some type of confirmation of a move. Now we already had a 15-minute green moon and a 15-minute green trend. All right, so he didn't need a 15-minute moon. He just needed a 3-minute moon and trend to get his reversal on ARB. And that's kind of, so walk us through that, Carlos. Is that about right? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's what I did. I just closed it. I didn't wanna wait. But it was 137%.
Oh man, most guys spend all day trying to make 20. So once you
Yeah.
learn not to be greedy and just take those profits over and over, then you start compounding, right? All trades pull
Yeah,
back. All trades have the moments.
yeah, that's what happens. Used to that. Remember, I would tell you like, yeah, the only reason why I'm not making any money is because I was just hoping to get more,
right. Yeah.
and then it goes the other way, and then that's it. You know?
Yeah, you got to be in, a very simple, process of uh, taking profits, and after a while, you're like, all right, so, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here, big trade runs, because the big trades are going to run when they're supposed to run. Now, you can't force it to,
Yeah.
to happen, right? But if you're constantly like, hitting singles, then you get a double and you're like, hey, that's pretty good. Then you get a triple and you're like, yo, that was really nice. And all of a sudden you hit a grand slam, you're like, damn, that was a great trade. And those are going to happen because you're trading consistently inside your zone. The very first step is give yourself the ability to win by being in the right trade, right? That's the first part of trading is put yourself in a trade that is actually possible of making money. And once you do that, you already increased your odds of winning from a 30% opportunity. Now you're at 70% chance to win, right? And now that's where you start playing in the other side. And then when you're taking profits properly, now you're increasing your hold on. Now you're increasing your opportunity, to take profits, and now you're increasing where now you're winning 90%, 9 out of 10 trades, because now you're taking the money, right? Once you do that, you start compounding that money, and you realize like, shit, this shit adds up. 100 here, 200 here, 400 here, boom, $1,000 trade, 200 here, 300 here, $2,000 trade, and you're like, shit, man, I'm making money, you know. And then after that, you realize that, like, oh, I don't need to rush. So Carlos is now in the phase of getting to how you feel right now, man. I know we talked a couple weeks ago, but now you're taking profits, you got your system in there, you're seeing the money come in. How you feeling now? Like when you're trading, like how's your mental? You know what I mean?
Oh, so now it's like before it was like, man, I missed it. Man, oh, I should have just entered, or I should have just kept it, or I should have just sold it, you know? And now I'm like, okay, so it's gone, whatever. Next, and I just go look for another one, or if I'm on a loss, I just take the losses, and that's it. It's gonna come back down. So yeah, after a while, you realize these things. It just takes a little bit of time to realize that no matter what, it's either gonna come back to where you were thinking about buying, or if you're already in the profit, just sell it. I mean, if you're already making money and you're good with it, just sell it. Because then, I mean, you could wait, yeah, to go a little bit higher, but you just gotta wait for those confirmations. You know what I mean? Or how confident you are. Start keep moving your stop loss to the positive, right? Every time it goes up one candle. So that's what I do sometimes. Um, so let's say ARB. So right now I sold it, but I would have just put my stop loss a little less at the bottom of the candle, and then just the next candle I would just put it same thing at the bottom of the next candle, and then that's it. But I just didn't want to do that, just like, okay, it's gone, I'm good with it, whatever, you know.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you have your set bags, once you get to the point where he's starting to, feel the rhythm of like, okay, I miss a trade. I really don't miss a trade because if I'm not in a trade, I can't lose. But it's going to come back to me, right? And now he's seeing that it's coming back. So now he's being very like a very patient trader, right? And now he's realizing that, if he takes his trades, he's collecting profit. So it doesn't matter if it's a $400 trade or a $2,000 trade, right? You know, two or three $400 trades, same 2,000, right? So it's just a consistency of like seeing that he's profitable, right? So it just allows him to, realize that bags are growing, right? So when you look at your bag, how's it look to look at the profit bags now?
Good.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's now I'm slowly getting back to the losses.
Right, 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 right. And that's kind of like
It's still the loss.
yeah. That's kind of like the realization, right? It's hard to get to a point where you're very, you know, patient and you have a lot of money to make up because you tend to get a little more aggressive, and that's why I'm always yelling at people like, guys, don't trade $100 until you learn how to turn 100 into 1,000, for 3 or 4 times, right? And everybody's like, I'm missing out on money. It's like you're not really missing out on money. Like, I understand like you can take 2, 3 thousand and make it into 10 one day and then give it back after a week, and then you're like, all right, let me put 4,000 in and turn that to 12,000, and that takes about a month to give it back, and then you're like, you know what? I just need one good run, and then you put 10,000 in, and then all of a sudden you get that to 20, and then you're negative 10, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna get that right back. Then you don't realize that you're down 50 grand or 100. You know,
That's exactly what happened to me.
right? I mean, that's kind of like that's the story of everybody, and I'm always like, guys, if you just started with 100 and worked out your kinks, right? And then once you were like, all right, 100 to 1,000, 100 to 1,000. Okay, let me do 300. All right, 300 to 1,000, 300 to 1,000. Okay, let me do 500. And then all of a sudden you're in this zone and you're like, man, I'm making money. And then you're like, all right, let me put 2 grand in. Oh shit, 4 grand. Okay. And now you're a profit taker, right? You have to become a profit taker before you become a trader. You got to get that concept of
Yeah.
taking profits because that I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason why, and this is kind of like messed up because we never understand what's happening to us because we're kind of in a scenario where we're not grasping like what's happening in front of us, and what it basically is this: the reason why there's 90% of day traders lose, it isn't because they're terrible at trading, right? It's because they're terrible at taking profits. You're never going to run into a guy who's lost $100,000 day trading that started off, put 100 in, lost, put 300 in, lost, put 1,000 in, lost, put 5,000 in and lost, right? That's not his story, okay? That guy never goes back to trading. The reason why day traders lose is because they put 100 in and make 300. Put 500 in, make 2,000. Put 1,000 in, get to 5,000, and then lose it. And then say, shit, I almost had it. Then start with 3,000, get that to 20. Yeah. And then they lose it. And they're like, shit, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And the next thing they know, it becomes an almost there moment every time, right? It's 10,000, 15,000 later, and then all of a sudden you're like, did I lose 50 grand? The fuck is going on, right? You don't even know. And then you just keep like, all right, I'm going to get this done. And now you're just stuck in the fucking the loophole, right? Trying a new strategy. Okay, support and resistance. All right, gamma fans. I'm going off Fibonacci's. I'm doing a bounce line, right? There's a bull flag. There's some patterns here, right? And you start throwing everything at the fucking wall, right? And you're like, the more I know, the more I'll do. The more I know, the better I'll get. And that's how it all goes. And then eventually you're like, man, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like I can make I win, but then I lose. Like, and it's like they don't understand. Like, there's only so much you can win. You have to take it, right? It's all about compounding, right? So it's not that they're bad traders. They're just bad profit takers. That's why they're in their position. Like, I had a lot of guys come to me like, yo, VC, how much is the course? And I'd be like, yo, we do a full course, man, depending on how you want to trade. You want to be a full-time trader? We do a $5,000 course. You want to do a part-time trader? Do a $3,000 course. They're all up to you, right? And then they'll come back later and give me 1 second, big dog. And they'll come back later after like 3 months of like, oh shit, VC. Yeah, because they'll be like, I'm up right now 20 grand. I'm like, all right, man, let me know. And then they'll hit me up 3 months later, like, man, I lost 50 grand. Like I need to start something, right? And then they'll take another couple months and they'll lose another 10 grand. And then they'll finally join the course. And after a while, they're like, fuck, man, I'm finally winning consistently, right? But it takes time. And they're like, man, if I had that 200,000, I lost, right? I'm like, exactly. Why are we risking so much money when we're not like consistent earners? You know what I'm saying? That's really the whole thing that we have to do is it's not that they're bad traders, it's just that they're bad profit takers. That's why it doesn't compute in the mind. That's why it's so hard to break that level. It's just a mindset. Like they just don't get it. Like, is that kind of like, is that you, Carlos? Are you one of those guys? You know,
Yeah.
and it's just the way it is, man. And that's why, spending time in the one-on-ones is like, it's just getting the mentality because that's really what you have to do it yourself. It doesn't matter. I can show you how to take $1,000 to 20 grand in a day, but then you'll give it all back. And then you'll do it again and you'll give it all back. It comes to the point where you finally realize that, if I would have just took the 80% instead of trying to get 120, right? And instead of losing on the stop loss on 20x on that, I would be up 80%. So I try to get an extra 20 or 30 and I end up losing 80 or actually 100. And it's like, damn. So when you start comparing those, you start to realize that um, you're trying to get an extra 20%, it's costing you 80. And then when you start seeing that, you're like, shit, man, I should have just took profits, right? And then when you start just, start taking profits and you're like, all right, okay, this is working. And then you start realizing like, I just need to take profits. Like I know what I'm doing, but I'm not capitalizing on my hard work. And that's the first battle. It's the hardest. So John Roth, like the hardest lesson to learn is taking profits. 100%, guys. That's why I'm always like telling guys like set a target, move your thing, take your profits, right? It's the hardest thing to do. It's kind of like yeah, 30-minute long trade, right? It's the hardest thing to do because you know it's the reason why you're in crypto and the reason why we're in crypto is because we're risk takers, right? We like poker. We like to learn. We like to do what others can't. So the more that people can't do it, the more we want to do it. And then we start doing it, right? But we don't have a manual that says, hey man, um, you know that the average profit is normally 20% on a spot. So if you're doing a 10x, it's only up to 100 to 150. You know what I mean? So it's like it's always the same thing, but we don't know that because it's just a new thing for us, right? And we always push the limits and we do all these other things, but we're not like understanding that there's rules here, right? We just say crypto, it's open 24/7, it's a casino in here, but we don't realize there's rules in this casino, right? And that's kind of like how it is, right? And there's rules in there's rules in the law of average, right? There's a thing called the law of average, right? And it's like, no, I don't care who you are or what you can only win and take advantage of so much up to a certain level. You can't win all night. That's why I like that movie Tombstone when the guy was talking to Doc Holliday. He's like, what did he say to him? He's like, nobody wins all the time, right? Because Doc Holliday was a very lucky poker player and they just were so pissed that all he did was win. So at the end of the day, it just kind of like pissed him off because he never lost, right? So it's always that moment. But in the real world, you only have so much winning that you can do, right? You have to take it. Like for me, I used to go play no limit, hold'em all the time, and it would be a very simple philosophy. It would be like, hey, I'm gonna sit down, and I had a goal. Like I'm gonna make $1,000 today, 400 to $1,000, and then I'm done, right? That way I had didn't matter how far I was, I had a goal. $400 that day means that everything I want to do that night I can do. I can go out to a really nice steak dinner, take my family out. I have an extra 200 that goes into the kitty, so I have my loss if I ever lose. Because I'm going to play with $1,000. I'm always kind of stacking my money, and I just that was kind of like the thing. So it didn't matter if I drove an hour to a casino or a riverboat and I got in. If I sat down at the first hand and I won 400 to $1,000, I would leave because I was done. you know. And I've had that, my buddies meet me up there and I'm like, all right, man, I'm done. I'm up 1,000. They're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Right. And then if they wanted me to stay, I would slow play. I'd play a very small, I'd have to re-sign up because when you play no limit, whatever you sit down with, you got to stay with. So I can't take wins and leave. So I'd have to get out the table. And then when I came back, you'd have like a $50 limit in your pocket or up to, minimum. But I'd have to sit with the minimum. And I would play like, real small hands just to hang out with the guys. But once I won my money, I was done. It didn't matter, you know. And that's what kind of like what it is in crypto. It's like once you hit your win, you're like, all right, there's my win. All right, gotta go. There's my win, gotta go. Right. And then you realize that you're constantly winning. But that's a mentality that takes a minute to kind of like get there because you start to feel um, good at what you do, right? And you guys have to realize that patterns and candles and supports and resistance and all these things, they're only right 50 to 60% of the time. So it's a coin flip, right? So when you start realizing that, that's why the market makers use them to set you up. They'll show you a bull pennant. They'll show you a ascending triangle because they know that they're trying to get you emotionally invested in this trade, right? And that's the secret is don't be emotional, be, be very critical, be, business-like, right? And once you get that mentality down, it's like boom, 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 boom. Then you get the results you want. Then you don't have uh, the the ego of like, oh man, this I mapped this out. This is going to the moon, right? You have to control your emotions. Is really like what holds the rest of it down. It's just be doing the right thing at the right time is all you need to do in crypto, and you'll be fine. And you'll see, you'll get back the losses, and when Carlos gets to that number, he'll be like, shit, I would have just started not giving away all this money at first. you know.
Yep.
But that's the journey. But now
That's
he's
exactly what happened.
yeah. But once you take that journey, man, it's the it's you swallow that pill and you're like, okay, I just doesn't matter how much I see or what I think. The reality is, if I hit my target, I hit my target and I move on. So if I have a system and a structure that I can just grind out, right now you grind that shit out, it's going to be productive. It's going to pay me out. It's going to give me the money that I'm looking for. And then you develop that next level of skills and you're just a money maker. Now you're a profit maker. You take profits, right? You don't want to be a trader. You want to be a profit taker. That's the key to the business. Now, all the traders out there, they just lose because they continue to, trade. That's the problem. You know, the more you do something, the more the odds are against you. You can't win. It's the law of average. That's why casinos exist. That's why the house always wins, right? Doesn't matter how lucky you are, the odds have to eventually stop. And when they stop, that's when they get you. Doesn't run forever. And that's the key point to everything is that it always turns, it always goes the other side, and that's kind of like the beauty of it all. It's nice, and it's also kind of like the downfall to it. You know, and you have to understand that law of average doesn't matter what you do. It's based on everything in the world. No matter what you do, it has to go the other way, right? Always happens. But once you understand that, you become the guy who knows how to push the limit, take what you got to get, and then go do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. That's why they always have those old sayings like find a way to make a dollar, do it a million times. Sounds stupid, right? But it's true. Like if you say to yourself, all right, I got to find a way to make, if you really broke down the shit and you're like, all right, I got to make a dollar. Okay. I need to do this a million times, right? So like, let's say you have a dollar, you need to do it a million times, right? So let's take a million divided by 365 days, 355 days a year, right? So, right. So that means that when you start off, you need to make a dollar on 2,816 trades a day, right? So now we know we're not actually doing a dollar, but if you were trading a level of a $3,000 bag, right? So let's say you took $2,800, and on that $2,800, right? Listen what I'm saying to you. You made a dollar, right? When you move through the system, you're going to get to your million because you're going to do more than a dollar. So if you're trading 1,000, right? You took that 286,000 trades and you literally just broke it down by 100% there. So you get to the point where it's like, all right, I need 2,800 trades, and then it's like, all right, I need 280 trades, right? Then you start growing on that and start moving that needle, and you get to the point where it's like, I need 28 trades a day to make X amount of money, right? So 28 trades a day, you make 10 large, 355 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Start looking at it differently. You start realizing where you're at. You're like, oh, you know what? If I made $1,000 a day and I did uh, 5 trades a day times 5 days a week times 52 weeks a year, that's $1.3 million, right? So when you look at it that way, right? So now when Carlos is kind of like looking at the big point, Carlos is a guy who's getting trades where he's getting $1,000, right? So if you had $1,000 day times 5 days a week times 52 weeks a year, right? It's 260,000, right? And that's simplicity. So if he had a one trade, $1,000, he did that 5 times a week, 52 weeks a year, right? So now times 5, right? So that's where everything comes down to, right? It's $1.3 million. So Carlos has goal right here. The next thing that we're actually going to go over is like just going with explaining to him like where he's at. So if he's at where, if he's basically taking in, 2 or 3 or 4 good trades a day, right? Or doing that per week, 52 weeks a year, it's almost $1 million. And that's where he's at right now. He's sitting at that level right now where he's just kind of like one good trade here and there, compounding. He's getting to the point where he's almost cracking a $250,000 right now. Probably doesn't even know it right now.
Yeah, also, VC, you'd be probably better off rather than doing a 200x and gambling XYZ on it.
Yeah.
You'd be better off just using more of his own bag to get 20% to get $1,000.
Yeah. And it's the whole point of like, once you start, the more money you put in, the less percent you need to take, right? That's the beauty of it. But once you find your rhythm in there, if you have a $5,000 bag, right? And this is kind of like the how a basis. I was watching a lot of traders, and they're always trying to do one thing, right? So they take $1,000 and they make 10 trades, or they try to make 10 trades in a week, and the goal is to take in about $10,000 on the week. So this is the goal of a lot of traders that I talk to, and they're going for $500,000, right? And the weird thing is they'll make these trades, and I'll look at their trades and I'll be like, I mean, they're literally sacrificing in a trade. They're going for 100%. So the trade that they go into, they use support and resistance. They're going in the trade with $1,000, and their goal is to make $3,000 to $4,000 on the trade. So they want to make 300 to 400%. Okay. Now they don't have any stop losses on there, and they run it to where they lose. If they lose, it's $1,000. If they win, it's 3,000 to 4,000, right? So at the end of the week, if they win 4 of the trades or 3 of the trades, they're taking in 3,000 to 4,000. So we'll say 9,000. And if they're losing on the other trades, or if they're ones that they're getting into, they could end up losing, 3,000 to 4,000, right? 3 to 4, maybe even 5,000. Say they lose 5 trades, but they made 9. So they walk away and go, man, I'm up $4,000. And when I see this, like I see this all the time, I'm just like, whoa. Imagine if you understood percentages. Like if you got into the trade and learned how to enter the trade on your entry better, you would only lose 20% of your entry, right? Which means they would only lose 200 on 5 of the trades they missed. So $1,000. And on the other trades, their entries would go for the numbers that they want, 300 to 400%. So they'd be 300 times 5, so 1,500, right? Or 15,000. So they'd be up 15 grand, but only down 1,000. And those are the guys I used to work with all the time, because it's so easy to take a guy who's, doing $1,000 trade and giving up $1,000 per trade, and doing 5 winners, 5 losers. Winners go for 300, losers go for 100, and then walking away going, all right, I lost 5 grand, but I made 15. I'm up 10. Yeah. And then I come along and I show them how to lose 1,000 instead of that, and now they're, instead of 10 grand, they're up almost 15. Right? So then that changes their entire life, because now I've just made them 40% more on their money. And all I did was fix stupidity, Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of traders like, they're like, BC, you're fucking genius. And I'm like, you're just not thinking, bro. I mean, I love to take credit, common sense, yeah. But in reality, all I'm doing It's fixing your impulse to do dumb shit. You know, teaching you that if you just settle down, you'll get where you're going to go. So, Carlos is on a great pace here to crack, 300, 400,000 in a year. Forget about, we hit a bull run. Oh, my own guy hit $1 million. But yeah, that's the now, and now he's like, he's in a state of mind where he's like, I'm making a real, I'm hitting my trades now. He's in stride, right? So now he knows when the bull run comes, he's really going to fucking kill it. Like before, it was like, all right, man, I got to kill this bull run, and then you hope you kill it, right? But now now he has a system, he has a structure, he's moving forward, he's taking profits, he's already winning. Now he gets to the bull run, now it's on the next level of everything. That's kind of like the bonus to it all. Let's see what we got here. So 91% on ARB. So the next thing for, it's kind of like picking the brain. That's why I want to kind of get him on here, is pick his brain, is so that when you guys pop into these live trades, you guys want to use these live trades to kind of like set yourself up to where you're looking over things and kind of like, okay, what are we looking for? And these are tips and tricks, to get yourself in a better position, look for entries, let things settle, and that'll get you to where you start to make better entries, right? And the easiest thing to do to fix your entries, right off the bat, is that anytime you decide that you, like, as soon as you go to enter a trade, just adjust the trade down by 10% or 15% and say, you know what? I'm going to say that it's going to go 15% lower. I'm going to set my entry. And then if it hits, it hits. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And you just walk away. And that's it. And then what happened is,
that's how I've been doing it too. You know, I once you start an entry, if it hits, good. If not, then that's fine. That's it. I just don't, just don't do it.
yeah, that's something we talked about a couple weeks ago. And it's kind of like, just, so how do you feel like now that you're kind of like setting that up? I mean, so a lot of guys in their mindset is they don't get a trade. They're like, oh, I missed that trade. So what are you finding out that now that you're kind of asking for more money in the beginning, so you're making a better deal before you enter? How's that in the mentality side? How do you feel about that?
Practice. I mean, since you're trying to practice, you're just trying to get the trades, just to get the practice. But then sometimes you end up just losing, trying to practice and understand it, and then like, oh man, I lost. And revenge trading is also just bad, And then sometimes it's just better trades not to trade,
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I was like, what? What do you mean? But then I'm getting them, Sometimes when it doesn't go my way, even right now, if it doesn't go my way, then like yesterday when I was on Airbnb, I mean on ARB, it didn't go my way, so I didn't chase it, and then I just left it alone, and I didn't even trade for the rest of the day. I was like, yeah, whatever, and then that's it. But this morning, woke up and it was there, you know.
And right, and then boom, you see what, that's like the power of it now, because now he sees it. Like I can explain 1,000 fucking times how it works, but until you take that little bit of, like, all right, let me see what this is. And now it's like, oh, okay. He walks away. Yeah, if I miss a trade, I miss a trade. Fuck it. I got another trade. Then you guys can see on the board, I mean, he's catching his fucking trades. There's nothing wrong with the trades he's getting, but now they're winning. It feels a lot better, when you're being patient and you're collecting on everything and you're like, boom, boom, boom. All right, I waited, and then you're rewarded with a $2,000 bag because you were patient. It's so much, feels good. You feel like, yeah. And that has to, it has to happen for you to be like, okay, all right, BC's trying to give me some help here. you know, like, all right, I'm getting patient here. All right.
No, it is. Yeah, and it is true. And then like today, I already been trading something, and also over trading. You end up just giving your profits back, and that's one of the things also that you need to get used to. Like, okay, so I got a little bit. Okay, how much am I willing to give back? And once you have that number set, then you get to that number, just really just walk away, because then like, okay, so I'm just gonna do 100 more. Okay, 50 more, and then all these 50 and 100, it turns into minus. You lost your profit, and then now you're down even more.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And
that's
that's
why I don't do that no more. Also,
yeah. Once you clean the bad habit, that's why I always tell you guys like it's a mentality, you know. Like I'm not telling you not to trade money because I don't want you to make money. I'm trying to save you from losing your money, and so when you figure the shit out, you can be like, shit, I can really go after this. You know, it's all mindset. You start building that up. You know, I'm excited because we always have like we started last year with the academy somewhere in March and April, and then it's always nice. It takes normally like 6 months to a year for guys to kind of like build in the mentality, and then it's really just personal growth. Like I was telling everybody, like Carlos is turning that corner. He's going to be dangerous now as he moves forward. And now he's starting to see that profit. He's starting to see that, all right, I don't need a trade to make money. All right, I'm waiting for the best trade. And then he's just going to get more and more dominant at what he's doing. And then once he locks into that zone, man, forget about it. He's going to go into the bull run and just crush that shit. You guys are going to see outlandish fucking profits. It'd be one trade like 6, 7,000. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing now. Just do like a bigger bag, but just one trade.
Hmm.
Because right now I do like multiple, but then I just want to focus on one, and then but just do a bigger bag, and then just do that one and follow that one, but it's gonna be worth it.
Hmm. Now, you see what he said right there? Do one trade, but wait, it's going to be worth it. Now he's already making himself more patient because he knows he's going to a bigger bag, and now he's going to be waiting for that big one. So now he's like honing in. Now he's like sharpening the tools. You know what I mean? Like, all right, he's sharpening that axe we used to call it. Now he's honing in. Like, okay, now I got a pattern. I know this is happening, and now he's the little risk that he's taking now. He's not going to be taking that in the future. He's going to be zeroing in on like solid fucking trades, but those are going to pay off big because now he knows where he's at in his zone. So that's kind of where it is right there. It's crazy. The mentality, like the switch of that's the beauty of it, man. That's why I get excited because it's like, all right, we're getting somewhere, you know. And it's nice to know, man. I mean, it's fucking exciting, you know, because I know like this is life changing times, in a year and a half, 2 years, it's going to be big times, man. Like in, the 2 years that you're going to go down the road, you're going to have a lot of friends here that did very well in crypto. And it's going to be exciting to be like, hey, man, I'm coming down to that city, man. Like, yeah, man, I got you, bro. Like, it's good to have like the beginning and see it all really like pan out. Simple things, and we're not doing anything too crazy here. It's just basics. It's just following the system, and the real of it is focusing on being profit takers versus everything else, right? So now the next step here is like, you get everyone in the base. That's what I was trying to tell you, Horse. Like, you guys jump into the live trade and then just start hunting coins down, right? What coins are we looking at? And then everyone can take a peek, right? And now you got feedback, right? So when Carlos is in here and he's looking for trades, he can pull up a chart and be like, well, I'm going to wait to that 15 minute. I need that to do this, this, and this, right? And then it's going to, those little things get to the point where people are like, all right, let me wait for that, right? Because a lot of times people are impatient. They jump a trade and they're like, well, I'm going to cost average buy into the trade. It's like, well, you can't, you can't band-aid us, the problem, right? If you're an alcoholic, you can't be like, well, I'm only drinking a half a bottle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta, you gotta kind of like commit. You know what I'm saying? Gotta really commit to everything, and then once you make the commitment, then you see the results that you want to see. Then you're getting into a way better scenario, and you're really, building yourself up there. That's the key to, success, right?
And also you guys need to see, okay, if it doesn't go your way, what did I do wrong? Shut down, understand what happened. Oh, okay. And the more you pay attention, the more you start noticing patterns of and why it didn't go your way or why it did went your way. And that also, it just helps you understand it. That's waiting for the second green moon. I didn't. I was like, what? Before I was like, what? Wait but it's green and trend. Yeah, but sometimes if it goes after the trend is on and you have a green moon, it goes back to red, and then that's when GC says sometimes to wait for the second green moon. I was like, but it's already green. Why am I waiting? And I understand
Yeah.
why. Sometimes it just the volume. Sometimes it just goes down. It's like the first moon in green moon and trend. It's like hey, I'm gonna go up, and then it just kind of gives a little bit of a notice to you. But then you wait for the second, uh, you, the second green moon, and then now you know that it's for sure. It's like hey, it is happening.
Confirmation. And that's the patient side, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of
But
where,
if you look at the 1 hour, yeah.
go
But if
ahead.
you look at the 1 hour, even when the trade is passed, and you go over your trades that you've done, you see exactly what Carlos just said there in reference to the 3 minute moon and trend. They mightn't have it on that specific one, but it'll have it on the second one.
Hmm.
A bigger pump.
Yeah, waiting, when a trade doesn't go your way, it's like great advice to go look and then say, okay, well, how come it didn't go all my way, right? And then you realize that sometimes weird things happen. You're like, okay, so I was right on point. I just missed this right here, right? And then when you start analyzing the trade that where you were waiting on and looking to go your way, you start to find the moments that of how to get into trades. And you're like, okay, that was there, and then you can see what went wrong or why you didn't wait or whatever, and then you start solving your own problems, right? And that's where you really like dig in and start to fix everything that you're kind of looking at, and allows you to grow simply by being patient and making the right moves, right? So it's always good to analyze what you're doing, always good to understand. And then once you have all that going in there, it makes the rest of it really easy, because now you have a system that you use every time. You have a process that you use every time, and you're getting results that you can see every time. And then you're making adjustments to make the process cleaner, execute better. And then when you start become executing better, next thing you know, you're winning a lot more. And it's easy to fix something when you do something over and over and over, because you're just making adjustments to stuff that you do all the time. So it takes all the guesswork out of it, of trying to figure out um, how to take advantage of everything, right? So it's a big scenario where once you get through that process, so analyzing, breaking it down. So I was telling Carlos, like, during the daytime I was hoarse too, like, guys, hop in the live trade and then start looking at coins together, and then you got feedback from guys, and guys can kind of say, well, I'm waiting this right here, right? And then and what'll happen is you'll start hearing how other people are seeing things, and you'll be like, oh, no, no, right there. And it'll clear up to you some things that you do, and you'll say, oh, you know what, you're missing this right here. And then when you start showing and teaching, you become very, very strong at what you do, because it's like you hold yourself accountable to, like, you know what, let's just let that run through, right? And then all of a sudden you start picking little things up, and then it just gets easier. That's the beauty of the live trade in the Discord, is we want to have, get everybody back from the holiday. We want 30, 40 people in here looking at coins, like, hey man, check this out, right? And then we have alerts coming in there. And then now we don't have to pick any trade that we don't like. We can go through and say, well, you know what? This trade is also sitting on support. There's resistance, there's support there. We got the Fibonacci. This looks like 5 things saying this is going to be a good trade. And if you can catch the trades that have, what every other trader is looking for, right? Support off the Fibonacci, resistance in lines, right? The fair value, like all the things that go along with it. And then you're like, oh man, this is actually going to be a solid trade. And then you know that you're going to take advantage of the trade and make even more off of it, because it's hitting all these other points, hitting a Fibonacci line, sitting on a support line, bouncing off the 200 moving average. And next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, this is going to be a big run. And those are where you're going to see those runs that go for 2, 3, 400%. And you're really going to be able to take advantage of it. So that's the beauty of getting inside the live trade and really like digging into all the basics. And we got so much more stuff kind of like being built and coming around. I like just popping into the coin alerts and taking a quick peek at everything. I was looking at IMX earlier. CF. You got a lot
And
of.
also, I think one of the other mistakes is thinking that it's gonna run for a long time, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's just a retracement, it's going back up. And yeah, sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And so one of the things that I do now is just get out. Like in my head earlier, I was thinking about. I didn't even look at the 2 hour or 1 hour RSIs when I was trading ARB. I was just thinking that I was gonna get to like 230s, 220s, but then I just started noticing that that it was going like a little bit, just moving a little bit up and down, just kind of trading in the same up and down in the same zone. So I was like, no, it's just gonna turn, and that's when I just sold it. It's like, and it did.
Take my money and run.
Yeah, see, yeah. And that's when right away when I noticed that, that's when I opened my short. I didn't even look at anything. I just, yeah, that this is going short, and then so yeah, just enter it, and then that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. See, that's the mentality of it's easy. It's like a clear mind, right? Because he had now that he's pieced together the system, and now he understands like why he's doing things. Now he's not thinking of all. He's not spending all his rationalization figuring out a trade. He's in a good trade. He's in a move. He has his moons coming in. He has his move. All that's happening, and now all he has to do is make a very clear decision to say, all right, this is enough money for me. I see it slowing down. And then that's where you can make, executive decisions, right? So there's like you know, there's a thing that, so if you're a millionaire, right, there's always good habits as a millionaire, right? And one of the biggest habits in the world is what most people don't realize is like your brain is just a computer, right? And I think it's something like your first 30 decisions are your greatest decisions of the day, right? And let me Google that real quick. So as you have a decision making day, right? That's why if you're wealthy and you're a big executive, right? This is kind of like you have um, your days planned out, right? So it would be like you wake up and you have meals prepped, you have everything ready to go, you eat the same thing, oatmeal, egg, toast, coffee, you read your newspaper, you read your report, you have a routine, right? That's what you ever hear people say, get a routine. And what they're really trying to tell you is that they don't tell they tell you good tips, right? But they never like tell you like the reason why of the tips, right? And so to get a routine is just in the morning you want a really good routine because you don't want your brain making decisions about stupid things because you only have so many things, right? So let's say, how many decisions? How many decisions let's say, how many decisions a day does the brain make? Let's see, hmm, how many decisions before the brain starts making poor decisions? Let's see if that's up here. The brain activity, our brain makes the decisions before we do. How does the brain process? Primitive emotional parts, all right? So normally it's like 30 decisions, right? Or, your first 3 hours, something like that. Like in the first 3 hours, and the decisions that you make are your best, right? So the reason why, like if you're a multimillionaire, you're a CEO, you're an executive, you're doing all these other things, a lot of times you get to the point where you come down and it's all decision making, right? So you don't waste your first decisions on should I have Wheaties or should I have Raisin Bran, or you know what, maybe I should get let me get eggs, right? You don't waste any of that. Or what am I wearing today? Am I wearing this? Am I wearing that? That's always laid out, right? That's why they're always like, have a good routine, lay out your clothes in the day before, right? It's because when you wake up, you only have so many decisions that you can make, right? And that's kind of like, I know it's going to be in here somewhere. And that's kind of like where you have that scenario when you have a plan, um, the brain helps us. it gets to the point where, you know, once you have a plan laid out and you're making this and you're getting into a trade and all that happens and all that's done, you can get to the point where you make a decision. It's more like an executive decision, right? And it's a good decision because you weren't wasting all your thoughts on everything else. So here, decision fatigue, right? Because you only have so many decisions to make, right? Why do we make worse decisions at the end of the day, right? So the thing called decision fatigue. Let's see here. Do. So decision fatigue, short-term exhaustion, individual effects, right? Systematic, a large scale. Large-scale decision fatigue could impact decision making at a high level and impact choices taken by company executives, amid leaders, politicians, global exec. What happens? Decision fatigue, people who more frequently have to make decisions based on trade-offs, experience decisions fatigue more intensely. As an example, those who live in poverty typically have to struggle with trade-offs continually. The average American usually won't have to struggle over deciding what to eat. Let's see here. But these are good things you guys can read if you ever have time to go pick up something or read something. This is important stuff here because it kind of like helps you understand behavioral, right? We need to be mindful of decision fatigue. It's in both prevalent in our lives, can lead to bad decisions, making a burnout for many people, right? So these are where, this is a very, key thing, right? So a typical example, initial example, Obama, where he told Vanity Fair, "You'll see I wear only gray or blue suits. I'm trying to pare down decisions. I don't want to make decisions about what I'm wearing or eating because I have too many other decisions to make." Let's see, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, the trick to eliminate unnecessary decisions, making a focus on more relevant decisions by creating a sticking to a routine. We have a fewer decisions to make in our daily routine activities, etc. So this is actually what I was talking about here. So they do have some articles in here and breaks it down. But that's where you want to be in life, is you want to basically get to the point where when you're trading, you don't want to have all the trading fatigue of, all right, am I getting a bull flag? Is this a pennant flag? Do I have this or that, or etc. And there's it's all this other shit. And then you get into the trade and you're just like in a trade and it's doing, and then you forget to fucking take profits, right? And you're like, damn, the only thing that mattered. So that's kind of like, for you guys to kind of like understand there's only so many decisions your brain makes. And there's got to be, let me see, there's got to be something about millionaires. Hold on. Let's see here. How do millionaires avoid decision fatigue? All right. Here we go. I knew there'd be something here. 10 steps to avoid decision fatigue. My life is simple. The way the priorities are clear. My stress level is low. I don't spend majority of time thinking about minor matters, blah, 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 blah. All right. So here, prepare for the next day, making a to-do list, develop a gym workout routine, continue reading, commit to organic. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here that you guys can like learn. This is a big subject and most people never learn about this, but it's a very big, big, big thing to do if you want to, if you find that your life is, if you wake up and it's kind of like by, mid-afternoon, you're just like, fuck, man, I'm just tired of making decisions. You might want to read a couple of those articles. Get yourself on a better path, but that shit will help you out, man. But that's kind of where it comes to trading, right? Once you get yourself in an area where you already the decisions are made, that's why the indicators are great, right? Waiting for 3 minute moon, waiting for 3 minute trend, waiting for this, waiting for that, right? And you just kind of put yourself in a scenario where the decisions are being made, where you don't have to. It's not like something you stress on, like, all right, man, is this gonna make a move? Like once you find an area for a move, you're just waiting for the process to go through. And then when the process goes through, then you execute the process and then you move on, right? And it's kind of like, okay, is this all right? That looks good. Okay. And then, you can focus on the real things. 15-minute moon alert. You focus on the real things, which is execution. And that's kind of like the basics of, everything that it is, right? Send tacos. Send me tacos, bro. Hook it up. Um, and that's pretty much it, man. So that's kind of like why you want to have simple way to trade. Since you had a lot of people, yeah, we had a lot of people, bro. I got banned because I was um, I was tracking people down in Bangladesh, and they got mad. So it happens. But we don't talk about that anymore. You know. So if Calvin Hill comes in here and say hi, more than likely he's not Calvin Hill. So you didn't hear that from me. Yeah, so that's kind of how we are, brother. And that's it, guys. So I mean, it's just basics.
Another good thing, BC, as well, depending on how your mood is before you even trade, sometimes that like if you know if you like anything is like a routine, what you said. But if you're having a bad day or something puts you in a bad mood or whatever, try and watch a funny clip. That's the ideal.
Hmm.
That helps. So you turn your mood swing from whatever it is to a positive, and then enter the trade, and it works.
Exactly.
But it's all down to your mindset.
Thanks, Taco, man. I'm good to see you, bro. Don't forget to follow Taco. Send tacos, baby. Don't forget to follow, man. I'm glad you found you guys. I'm gonna be on live more. We'll be on. We got live trading. We got 3-4 months of getting into this new setup for the next bull run here. So yeah, we're gonna be hanging out here, Taco. We're gonna be hanging out, big dog. Yeah, and having your mindset, that's also it's good to have. That's why I say when you guys come into trading, hop in the live trade and then see who's there. Because then it's also like it's nice to have a bunch of people like looking at trades with you, walking you through, and then you feel like you're not rushing. You know what I mean? And then you might have someone say, you know what, I'm gonna let that reset, and then you're like, you know what, fuck it, let me let it reset. Then all of a sudden you're starting to be more patient because you have more people working with you on trades, and you get a lot more patient because you're focusing on being more consistent. So it's a good scenario to build that up. Like we live trade should have like anytime you guys are trading, you should just post inside of the Discord like, hey, I'm hopping on live trade. We're gonna look at some trades. If you guys are hanging out, and then get people where you can get a nice little group together, 30, 40 guys in there, and then constantly just finding the best trades that are going on, and just start building that up, and then you'll start getting a nice little group in there. I know Stelios likes to hop on and trade as well, and then you can build a nice little team, especially with the new guys coming in, making sure they're tracking their trades properly and getting to the point where they're focused in on just doing the basics, and that just helps them out, keep them focused on the simple things. That just allows them to like, execute a lot better. And that's the beauty of it. All right, we're finally getting our AGLD starting to turn the corner finally. Let's go, baby. So now we got that 3-minute trend finally come in. And we're moving right up, moving up a little 3-minute trend as well. So it's got a little bounce to it. I would say here we're probably going to get a cup and handle on the 3-minute.
Broke one of my rules and just went in.
What happened?
I said I broke my rule to wait and just went in.
Well, you got your trend in there. Yeah. So for me, it's like, so this is where you have where, as soon as I see something like, see how the 3-minute was pumping up and we got the rejection off the 200 moving average, then it pulled back. That's where I would be buying in on those pullbacks and then cost that averaging it in there, right? And it just gets you to the point where, it's pretty solid on a breakout here, but it just allows me to keep buying those dips. And if it moves sideways and things start to change, then, we take our 10%, 15% stop loss and just call it a day. Another thing is like,
That's what I did. I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna start. Every time if it goes down a little bit, just gonna add more.
yeah,
I'm up 35%, so not bad. I already set my stop loss up in the positive 5%, worst case scenario. And then just from there, just DCA.
yeah, yeah, it's just kind of like, once you get in there and kind of set it up. And then, the one thing we'll kind of focus on is, I think the next step is, and it just comes down to getting, people in that group. So the next thing is just looking at, all right, what's some possible targets there that I can say, right? So for me, it's always looking at the same thing, right? So I got, for me, it would be that once I get the next move. So we have a 1 hour moon coming in here, pushing the trend, so that's already there. So the next thing would be, do we have a 2 hour moon? We don't have a 2 hour moon yet. On the downside, for me would be if it's a continuation of like, I would see probably like a first 15-minute moon coming in here somewhere. And then if I get a second 15-minute moon, that would be my out or the 1 hour, So if you're going a little bit longer, extending trades or whatever, then you just kind of set yourself up to where you look for that. So that's kind of like the key to that. Like ARB right now is on a first 3-minute red moon, right? Which would I expect to have a little bit of a retrace, and I would expect ARB to actually like expand on that. AGLD, we got look at our moons. So AGLD, we're in the beginning of the upward move. So we still need a 1 hour moon, right? And then we got some room there. Let's go to the 30-minute. 30-minute RSI is at the bottom. This is same thing when we first walked in, 15 minutes headed up. So we're heading towards our green moon. So we can get that action there. We can see some moves here. So we're kind of in the beginning here. So for me, it would be rejection wise would be claiming like a 3-minute moon and trend, changing the whole position here, but not too shabby. Right now we got to break through this 200 moving average. So it would be every time the 3-minute RSI goes down, I would be buying a little more. Oh, my boy Pro's over here cracking me up. He's like, I blocked Calvin Hill months ago because I couldn't stand seeing the videos every time I came on. Now I had to block him 10 more times. Yeah, there's a lot. He's out there, boys. 300 of them. A lot of VCs out there too. I think last time I counted my other accounts, I had like 430. It's a little much, boys. But I mean, I appreciate it, man. If you guys are in here, man, can you post more videos and make sure the website is vccryptonation.com. Keep it moving, boys. Keep it moving. That's how we do. I appreciate all the marketing, guys. Shout out to my boys in Bangladesh. Let's go. Man, you can't, can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? Bangladesh. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Let me get some ones in the chat if you're out there in Bangladesh. Let's go. And my boys. I appreciate it, man, because they always put the right website too. They're dope. They're like, yeah, VCCryptoNation.com, son. That's my boys. Ew. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, we have obviously, what's today? Monday, Tuesday. So we're coming out of a pretty decent Monday, which is where they did some pumps in there. Yeah, the market's moving along. So right now it's like the middle of January. I think we get a lot of movement in this next week or so. I would be looking at, market cap, right? So that's kind of where I'm always looking, guys. So if you're not like looking at your market cap every day just to make sure in the right direction, we're sitting at 1.7, right? So if you didn't know, we were at 169 the last couple of days. So we are building momentum. So this is a good point where a lot of people say, yo, VC, what about alt season? Well, here you go. You're starting to build. Alt season for me would be 2 trillion, right? We break 2 trillion. We want to go to 2.3, 2.4 trillion. That's alt season. So right now we're slowly getting some tax money in here. So I'd say another couple days, and we'll get in there. Let me see with our And that's kind of where we're at there. So we are moving towards all season, guys. So let's see here. So as long as that market cap keeps peaking up, we should be in a good spot here. Let me see what we have on this. Yeah. All right, so SIA's got a 15-minute pullback. Inspect. Now, guys, I don't know if you're looking at projects, but Inspect INSP is on MEXC. Interesting project to take a peek at. I'm gonna throw some money in there and just leave it. It's the trying to turn Twitter to Web3. So you log into your account there. You can keep your NFTs on there. I haven't really tested it all out yet, but I'm gonna dig into that project a little bit more.
What's it called, VC?
Inspect INSP. Inspect INSP. It's on MEXC. I threw a couple $100 in there just to see where it goes. Overall, you know, it's kind of hit its little cup and handle here at 32 cents. Circulating supply is very low, which means any money that comes into it will get 70% on that money. So we could see in fluctuation here if it builds up. So they're building. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to use it. So if you go to their website, they have it where you connect to their socials. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a layer 2 built for X. The reason why I was looking at some other projects on Twitter that are actually using this to get to be in Twitter. So cryptocurrencies, NFT, market insights, streamed action. So discover the fusion, social, Semetics, and NFTs. Level up your trading, DeFi, NFT. So it has a lot of aspects to it, like DeFi, NFTs, trading, right? So you download the extension, install Inspect extension for the Ultimate Layer 2 on top of Twitter. So I'm gonna go in here and like download it, and then I'm gonna check out what it does. So Q4 came out, so native token launch, which is what we have on MEXC. So this quarter here is listing protocol and then ads. Q2 Inspect Pro release, which is where we'll see an fluctuation of money. And then Q3 Inspect groups protocol, and then mobile app. We get that mobile app at the end of the year. We should be half this in here. So this is where I'm kind of like going to take a peek at it, start using it now, and then build up to it. But I think it could do maybe get up to $2 before it starts taking money out. So that's something we're gonna dig into as far as up and coming projects. The other one that I looked at, which is real nice, is I don't think it's on Ace, it's on KuCoin, and I like for the life of me I couldn't remember my KuCoin login, so I got to dig up some stuff. But I'm on the road right now. But there's a coin called Ace. There's another coin called Ace. ACE. Yeah, ACENT. Yeah, and that one is now it hit 4 cents, and now we're getting this nice little pullback. But this is going to be part of a gaming thing that they're doing. But it's back down to where it originally started its pump, but it already hit. I mean, all time. Just in the last, let's see, let me get rid of, what are these cookies? Reject additional cookies. All right, fine, whatever. All right, so May 2021, we had a nice little push when it first came out. Second push here, we got the other, so it went up to 45 cents, which it won't get back up to. But circulating supply is kind of what I was looking at there. But it did have a middle section of 22 cents. And then recently, over the last month, we did a trade on it. We got it up to 4 cents. That was that pump right there. Now it's back to the bottom again. So that coin is already shown that it'll market and pump randomly. and it can do 3 cents. So right now, if you're inside of a cent, let it go down, we could see an easy 300 to 400%. So that's a good project to put 2,000-3,000 in and just wait for it to pump. So that's always a good like spot trade right there. So it's been around for a little bit of time, but it's building in a game, has a bunch of other stuff. Meme coin for you guys. Solid. See, that's what I call a meme coin, right? I like, or a poo coin, that's a good poo coin, right? It's part of a project, has possibility, uses up and down. And don't forget, guys, let me post this here. Give me 1 second. Let me go to more. Let me see. Does this have support? Hold on. Enhance. Hold on. There we go. Let me see here. Okay, I got to go to effects. All right, and then I'm gonna put this. Where is it? Okay, here. Okay, and then I'm gonna post. Where's the pictures? Okay, there you go, guys. All right, so you guys see that? Oh, that's too big. Let me fix that. Hold on. I'm getting used to these new effects here. I need the one that does the hand. Where's it at? Dude. All right, boom. There we go. Boom. Boom. All right. There you go, guys. Can you see it?
Can't see it, VC.
Your screen.
No. Like, who's on TikTok? Anybody see that? Yeah. So now I can put up a disclaimer. This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only. Don't forget, guys, before you enter any trades or do financial decisions, make sure you speak to a professional. And then once they explain they can only make you 6% in a year, then come back to the channel. But until then, make sure that you talk to all the professionals first. Okay, guys? TikTok does not support or sponsor any videos made on TikTok, and everything is for educational purpose only. Yeah, that's about it, guys. What do you think? Yeah, y'all like that? You guys like that? There we go. That's how it's done, boys. You gotta post that shit, man. Gotta stay on top of it. You get aggressive. All right. Let's see what we got here. So we're doing pretty good. I think we started the day off doing a normal $300 bag. We're at $450 right now. We got a nice little AGLD trade brewing. Yes, sir. We got ARB on a little bit of a pullback. Okay. All right, man, we're working our way up. Yeah, we're working our way up, boys. Guys, if you have any questions, anything on there you want to take a look at, Sweet Treats, what up, baby? Guys, make sure you send me a Gmail at vccryptonation@gmail. It's the only way I respond. If you're in the USA, guys, make sure that you send a cell phone number, right? Send a cell number. I'll send you a text message. We'll have a talk, a discussion. Yo, Alf, oh shit, this motherfucker alive. Who's about to send help? I was calling all over UK, bro. I'm like, yo, doctor who? Yeah, that guy works too. Let me get the doc. Let me get the guy with the scarf. Now send in the dude with the scarf, bro. You know, I don't know which one you like. I'm the curly guy. I love the curly head dude, man. I don't know which one you like, bro, but we're looking for the who doctor, brother. You alive, bro? Oh, that's how we do. Efren, what's up, baby? All right, guys. So we're just digging in some trades here. Simple stuff, man. Picking Carlos's brain, getting that in there. So we're gonna move in there. So that was simplicity of like, getting it done. So picking the brain, getting some info, because a lot of times it's, looking at the same system and then piecing it together that where it just clicks in your brain, right? The indicators are confirmation. They just help you, get to the point where you start seeing everything and then you just make decisions and like, okay, that looks good. And then next thing you know, you're making a decision that is, profitable for you. And you're just putting yourself where it's like, it makes sense. Okay, that looks right. Okay, this looks good. And it just, it just builds up for you, right? So it's just nice to have the confirmation on there so that you can take advantage of everything like that. So very, very simple, very nice to do, very easy to do. And then kind of understand a process of how guys go back and forth. Start with the 1 hour, 15-minute, look for the momentum changes, and then 3-minute moon and trend, and then bada boom, bada bing. You snack into your trades, and then that's pretty much it. So that's what we like to trade live, so we can actually go through a process and pick out some things, and as you go along, little tidbits that you can put in your arsenal and kind of like get you in there. Yeah, did you get those DMs, Elf? Did you crawl your computer yet, bro? I know you're probably in your bed on your phone. You meet it on TikTok, bro. Did you crawl over, man? Jimmy's in the house, guys. I gotta shave my dog's whiskers. I think he's eating too much hair. Eating too much hair over there, bro? Been having a little bit of a cough. Furball, he's got that hair. You're a dog, man. You're not supposed to have hairballs, bro. I'll trim your lip in a minute. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, you know what I want to do? All right. All right, there we go. We're looking pretty good here, man. We got our moves on AGLD. That looks good. We got 86% on there. We're 40% on ARB. Moving along. Get this up to 700 tonight. See if we can double it up. So we can double this down, man. All right. Looking good. AGL. Let's see. This might actually. We still 1 hour still turning, pushing up. Yeah, we got momentum here, man. 30-minute looks good. 15-minute. Yeah, looks all good. Looks good. Let's see, ARB. ARB broke out. Now this has a lot of volume on it. 3 minutes still pushing. That looks healthy. 15-minute is at the top, so we should 30-minute should be seeing some type of pullback. 1 hour has a lot of room to push. Good morning, GM. Good. What are you looking for? GM close. Green moon. 15-minute green moon. Yeah, we're kind of piecing it together. We're showing how to track down early things. Carlos on here picked his brain for a little bit. Then he'll get him into some live trades more often, you guys. That way you guys can kind of walk through some basics here. Simplify things. Taz, what up, man? Can you please show indicators you're using? Yeah, so we are using, go to indicators, you go to invite script. They're right there. They're called Making Trading Easy, MTE, right? Multiple time frame moons, RSI, price trend. If you have any questions about the indicators, guys, send me a Gmail, right? The Gmail is the name of the channel right there, VC Crypto Nation, VC Crypto Nation at Gmail. Send me a Gmail and we'll go over those, right? Those are the indicators that we use. And we trade with them all day long, use the system, show you how to set them up, show you how to take advantage of scenarios with them. So here's our main trade we're doing here. We're up 91% finally on our ALG. We're up 57% on ARB, and I sold 100% on that. So we're actually almost up 200% on ARB. ARB. Yeah, AGLD was long, big dog. We're in an AGLD long. Don't forget, guys, this is all for educational purposes. All money and proceeds made through trading is used to investigate and understand food preparation, steaks, and whether it's barbecue or regular. It's all for educational purposes, guys. Keep it in mind. I mean, it's burger buns. I mean, the other night I had to decide: am I doing a pretzel? Am I doing, American thick toast, Texas style? I mean, we got to dig into these things, guys. I mean, we even had a burger the other night that had peanut butter. I didn't try it, but now I got to go check that out for you guys and make sure it's all squared away. Educational purposes only, guys. So guys, if you have any questions, make sure you send an email to VC Crypto Nation. If you're in the USA, guys, please include a cell phone number and we will give you a call and go over that with you. I need to actually get my boy on here. Israel, if you're on right now, give me a phone call, bro. Good afternoon, team. We need to decide we want to drop a new t-shirt, red, white, and blue. Since we're moving forward to football jersey, do we want to design a hockey or basketball jersey? All right. Clothing apparel. All right. Oh, you know what I need? Hey, Albert. AGLD?
Where do you think it's going to head?
Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's going to do that cup and handle. I mean, we're in kind of early, right? So the first thing I want to do is look at the 15-minute, right? So my first target is going to be the 15-minute 0.05 line, right? So it's $1.39. So I'd expect it to hit that, reject, come back down, and then push back up to the 618, reject down to the 5, and then if it does push up to the 786, and then I'd expect a short from there. All right. 300 to 520, boys. We're cranking. That's what a loss. We took a loss on that C. I lost 15 bucks on it. Albert, we're gonna give you a call in a minute, man. Walk you through. So what is we gotta get all your transfers done, bro. We gotta get you set up there. Let me check on Megan here. Let's get everybody, let's find everybody today, get them all in the ducks in a row. All right, guys, if you're in ARB, we're up 80% on top of the 100. If you're in AGLD, we're cracking 100% right now. So everything's working out here, boys. Everything is working out. Alf, if you're new in the Discord, Alf has just upgraded your trading view. So if you're new in the Discord, go check your trading view. Click on trading view like here. Go to your indicators, and in your invite only script, you should see these indicators here. Make sure you have them. If not, go to the main chat and talk to Alf. He's currently under the covers, but he's alive and well. 44K tonight. Are we talking about Bitcoin? We're talking about Biddy. Let's go look at Bittercoin. Where will Bittercoin go? All right, let's go see this. 44K. Jesus Jr. We are trading ARB, and the recent trade is AGLD. So we're longing in there. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. BTC, Bitcoin. Oh, you want 44,000? Oh yeah. I mean, you're gonna get your rejection on 43.7. Let me take a look at the overall here. You're pretty topping out here, bro. I don't know if you're gonna get to 44,000. But the good news is your target is 43.8. All right. I'll say I never gave you anything, bro. Merry Christmas. You're gonna hit that right there. You're gonna hit a heavy resistance at 43.8. So that means on the 1 hour to break the 200 moving average slightly. 15-minute, we are up above it. We retouched it. Now, guys, if you're always looking for good trades, this is another one. If you're trading the 15-minute, right? 15-minute moon, we enter a trade. There's a push. The pullback, here we get a trend. The pullback retouches the 200 moving average. Like, so look at Bitcoin. You guys can see where the 15-minute breaks out, retouches the 200 moving average with a red moon. That would actually be when it retouches there, we would enter on that with the 15-minute turning up, and then that would be our long. Now moving forward, looks like it wants to reach a 618, which would be the opposite move here for the long. But yeah, I keep coming up with 43,000. Let me mark it here. Price label. Bada boom, bada bing. 43,829 for Bitcoin, guys. You heard it here. And once again, let me put up that disclaimer. This is all for education. Nothing here is for hey, Stelios. Nothing here is sponsored by TikTok. Everything we do here is just for pure education. before you make any bets, gamble, or anything you do, make sure you talk to a professional and find out what they're talking about, and then give them my TikTok and let them know I'll be able to help them out. Share the news, boys. Share the love. Steve, what up, baby? You know what I miss, man? I'm waiting for my boy Sweden. Where's Sweden at? Sweden. That's what I'm waiting for, my boy Sweden. Oh, let's see. So right now we're coming hitting all our little AGLD should be pretty good, but ARB is pushing up. 220. 220 line. We break that 220 on ARB. We can see 228. Yes, sir. Price label. I'm thinking 225. Let's go take a look at AGL. This one here. Yeah, I would say we're definitely 139. All right. Sold 2 hour green moon trend just hit. This guy Gus, what up, baby? Shoonie. All right, let's go see Sol Solana. It's a little bit of Solana, baby. Big Sol. All right, let's see. We got a 2 hour. Yeah, you got your 15 minute RSIs at the top there. Sol hitting the 0 line. It's got to have some type of reset in here. That's a deep reset though. All right, what do we got? 2 hour pushing up, 2 hour moon, 2 hour trend just hit on Sol. So now market's picking up, boys. Here we go. Altcoin time. You guys wanted alt season. Let's see here. So Sol is picking up. Let's get into some Solana. Solana, let me go down here, 15 minute, right? So let's find Solana is about to break through its support line at 97.95. I expect a slow pullback here. So let me get a 3 minute. So I would expect Solana to come back and touch the 200 moving average at 96.90. If we get a little more greedy, we can go 90, 96.70. So let me set a buy for Solana at 96.70. Sold. All right, sold 96.70. All right. Double check that. All right, pullback 969. 969. All right, 69. So 969. We're going to put 968. I'm going to put a long position. I'm going to do an 85x. Return on investment, I want 100%. My stop loss, I want 20. And we're going to dip in right there. Call that a trade right there. All right. Here we go. So if it comes in, great. If it doesn't matter. All good, guys. All good. Stelios! My Greek buddy. Hey, Horse, you be trading with Stelios? Yeah, his ass over there. Greece. So Stelios. So just to give you a little background on Stelios, right? So I grew up in a town in Chicago, South Chicago, right? And he was about 30 minutes west of me. His family owns a bunch of restaurants and shit in this town I used to go to and do parties. So he's actually from my area, but he's been in Greece the whole time. Stelios. He just moved over to Greece. That was it then. Yeah, he's been out in Greece for a while. How long you been out there in Greece, Stelios? But his family owns a lot of restaurants and bars that I go to where I'm from.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, funny, right? Oh, hey, yeah, Jimmy, we're firing up daily signals. That'll fire up tonight. Actually, I'll fire them up tonight. Let's go look at some see if anybody else like all done. Let's see if anybody's actually calling anything. All right, so right now we have a nothing really popping here. So all right, power long. So there's a long on power, POWR, entry at 37 cents. Looking for big power long setting, really limit. Let's go look at power real quick. Power. Is that on? Do we have that on? Is that on MEXC, man? I swear that's on MEXC. Is that POW? P-O-W? Power? What would it be? Come on. I've seen that before. I know it's on KuCoin. I mean, it's at 30. What's he got it at? POWR. POWR. Let's see. POWR. He's calling for a big move here. POWR. I got to get my KuCoin back up. There we go. Yeah, Power Ledger. Yeah, that's on MEXC, right? POWR. Hold on. POWR. There you are. I knew you was here, you dirty bastard. All right. 37 cents. All right, let's go take a look at power real quick. Cancel POWR. All right, there we go. Okay. So let's take a look at the overall. 4 hour has some move to it. Let's go to 2 hours. What's a daily? Oh, daily's on the bottom. And then it says possibilities. 3 hours already pushing up. 2 hour moon, no trend, a little bit of a pump. So I say we have a nice possibility here. All right, we have a green moon, we have a 1 hour trend. All right, so we expect a pullback here. So we have a 2 move for the 15 minute. All right, so we have a 15-minute pullback on power happening now. And then we'd be looking to enter. So maybe 37. Let's see what the entry is here. Yeah, entry at 37.11, 5x leverage. Stop loss 36.21. 36.21. Okay, 36.21. Ooh, that's a fucking huge ass. Yeah, he's looking on the lower leverage. That's the only bad thing about when you look at calls, you have to reanalyze everything. All right. I mean, I say this pullback here. Let's see if we can get this power pullback down to 36.83. And then we can go from there. All right, so we keep that up because we're going to look for power to make some moves here. Mover is moving. Hey, did you receive the ERC copy? You know what? I didn't do any of the Pulse Chain ERC 20 copies. I didn't do. Anybody do those? Did you guys do any of those? You know, you can go to Pulse Chain and copy your. I should have did Doge. Should have swapped out some of the bangers. I did not, bro. I did not. Crypto forecaster, what's up, baby? Did you do that, man? You get any of those? You cash out? Did you make any money, man? That's what a crypto cowboy. What's up, man? What's kudos? Let's look at kudos. Cudos. Kudos. Kudos. What up, kudos? He says kudos is on the Cosmos network, bro. You know, the one I got to get into is the engine. gotta get in the engine right there. So let's check out this kudos. Kudos. Let's see what they looking like, bro. All right, kudos. What markets they on? KuCoin, Gate, Osmos, Binance, KuCoin. Oh, they're on crypto.com. Stepping up. Crypto.com. I see the volume, guys. Let's take a look at the volume. See kudos. Don't forget, guys, when we're looking at a coin, it's for educational purposes. Nothing is financial advice. Make sure you do your own research. Consult a professional. TikTok does not sponsor the videos or have you do any gambling. Make sure that you talk to a professional and seek help. 1-800-DON'T GAMBLE. All right. Volume here is 200,000 on KuCoin, 100,000 on Gate, 200,000 on BitMax. It's got a lot of volume, bro. Only 22,000 on crypto.com. All right. Now, with all that volume, and remember, what it was you say, can you look at kudos? They are on the Cosmos ecosystem. Big news out today. So let me ask you guys, when there's big news out, what does that normally mean? When there's big news, boys, what does that mean? Scotty, what up, baby? Yeah, so normally if there's news, you want to sell it. So launching their platform, that was kind of like the catalyst. It's a catalyst to a pump, right? So that catalyst comes in, you get a pump. Now, if we look at their thing here, you can see that they sold. Now, you wanted to buy. The low was 1 penny. Right? Was that a penny, right? It got all the way up to 1 penny and a 16th. I don't know if that, to me, it's like a 1% move, maybe. Maybe a 2% move. It's a very small move, and I only deal in futures. So that right there would be, it's not that big of a move, right? So I would look at this and go, okay, total max supply, she's 10 billion, right? 10 billion, 10 billion. Total supply out 8.5 billion. Now the circulating supply, this is where I would be very careful here. Circulating supply is 58%. Total supply already minted is almost 9 billion. So they've minted almost 100% of the mint. They're holding at least 35% of it, which means they can dump to build their project, which is probably what they're going to do, which is what that was right there. And then at the end of the day, I'm only seeing so what I'd be concerned here because you get really good news. Let me look at the all time. Let me dig in here. All right, so here's the all time. So I was going to say that I see a high of maybe 5 cents, right? And I haven't even looked at the whole thing. But now that I look at the whole thing, the high is 10 cents. Cut that in half, it's going to be 5 cents. You got to cut that down to 2.5. So the possibility here for me would be that this coin would, go up to maybe 3 cents. in that area there, about 3 cents, maybe topping 4 to 5 cents. So yeah, BC's pretty good at this shit. So I'd say about 5 cents. So you have a possibility of a 3x here, maybe a 4. But I would say 3x would be my max on this guess. It has a long way to go. Yeah, 3 cents. Yeah, see there would be buy it at the penny, hit your Binance for 3 cents, sell, and then I would be buying this dip and then riding it back to 3 cents again. So if you want to play if you're in the kudos game, kudos to you. Nah, see what we did there? Guy did that. And then you would be buying your dips, man, and just selling at the 3 cent. But the 3 to 3 cent to 2.9, 3 cent, you know what I'm saying? Horse just got it. Give him a second, guys. And so yeah, I would just, be buying the dips and then I would be holding it. Obviously it has a 3 cent move, right? So it goes from 1 to 3 cents. It's not bad making 200% on your money. So if you put, 2 grand in, makes one move, you take out, sell for 6,000, put 2 grand back in, goes for 6,000, take out, and you're just sitting there collecting your double up every time. You do that 10 times over, you make 10, 15 grand, throughout the year. So that's an interesting project. I'll put a mark on there. Add to my favorite coin list. Kudos. But that's kind of where, I would kind of leave it there. But my concern is, at the end of the day, my concern is that, we still have 58% of the circulating supply out. 90% of it's minted, right? So it's already out there, which means we're getting 50% on our money. What that means is 3 to 5 cent moves are really only worth 2 cents. So at any time that they start digging into that, you're going to lose the value there. So I would rather see this coin do something like 6, 7 cents and then come down. And then I know worst case scenario, I can do 3 cents. An example of that, if I go to ACE, right, was the coin I was showing you there. If I go to ACE here, you can see on the circulating supply, they're working here where they've got 2 billion coins, but they only got 400 million out, right? So you're working at about 30, 40% there, right? Now the difference is when I look at the all-time, the all-time's 45 cents. It's way down here at like less than a penny. So worst case scenario, it does 20 cents. The other half of that would be 10 cents, right? So we're doing half of the 10 cents. That's the 4 cent move. So right now we're making 4 cent moves, which is 300% on our money, right? But that also has a possibility to go to 10 cents at any time. Where your coin, Kudos, its biggest possibility is 3 cents. Its best possibility is if we get to 10. So it's almost like, or 5, right? So you see what I'm saying? One move to 3 cents is a big move to get 200%, and half of that would be 100%, which would be kind of like the average. The other side of that coin is a 300% if we get lucky, right? And yeah, I'll take a look at it. I put on my favorites, bro. I put on my favorites, big dog. But what I'm saying is on Accent, it's playing around. Its middle scenario is 20 cents. Its great scenario is 10 cents. But if it moves 5 cents like it's supposed to every time, right, or 4 cents, we're getting 300%. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of where I was saying, like that's kind of how you break your projects down, so that way you know what it is. That's why with Kudos, I would be think of it like this, right? Normally I would do like 5 grand in a project like that, but Kudos I would probably only do about 2 because I'd be worried about the return. Where Accent I could, and 5 grand I'd probably do 10 because I know that I can get a 3x out of it one time, and that one time will go ahead and double down for the 4 entries, and then the next time it goes into its pullback like it is now, I can do a 10,000. All it has to do is do a 10 cent one time, which is half of what it should do, right? And we're sitting on 100 grand. See what I'm saying? Where if I put 5 grand into Kudos and it went to 5 cents, I'm only walking away with, 25 grand, right? You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference between 25 grand and 100,000. So that's kind of where we're at there. MDT, I'm telling you right now, he said, hey, Toshi, what up, bro? Where you been, man? Happy New Year, man. Get all these guys coming out of the woodworks. Toshi, how you feeling, bro? So MDT, man, what's up, my guy? How you been, bro? Happy New Year to you, man. So MDT, which one you talking about, bro? I finally get it. Yeah, we're starting to picking the brain here. Which one you want me to do, dude? Which MDT you in? Are you in MetaDance? You're in Measurable Data Token, right? Which one, man? Which one you looking at? Don't forget, guys, let me put the disclaimer up. As always, everything that you're looking at here is not financial advice. Everything that we do is just for educational purposes. And before you do anything, make sure you consult a professional, just to kind of get yourself up there. Which one, Toshi? Measurable. All right, let's get in. I'm just making sure, bro. I didn't know if you was a meta guy. Just making sure you're doing the right thing, bro. Do 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 do. All right. So now, let's see what we got here. All right. So measurable, right? So first things first, guys. Quick peek at the circulating supply, 67%, which means we're getting an extra 30% on our money. 1 billion tokens. All right. Okay. All looks good. Let's see. All-time high. 76 cents. So we're looking at 30 cents. Cut that in half is 15 cents. We're at 5. That means we can get a 2x out of here on all the pumps, which is conferred. If I look at these pumps, I guarantee they're 15 cents. There's 11, there's 15, there's 7. So this is giving us double ups, at least a 100x to a 200x. But it does have a capability of, if it does break out, this could deliver a move to the upside. Let's see here. At about yeah, 10 cents. Hey, babe. So what this should be looking for here is the support at 25 cents. So you could get a 5x on here. Could get a 5x on there. But once again, you need it to come around and get in there. So that's a possibility of a 5x. If it does push a little bit harder than that, you could possibly get it up to 50 cents. So you can get a 10x. But that would be, I'd be saying more than likely you're going to get a 5x on that. That's kind of like the basics. All right, so here we go over here, guys. We have our AGLD. We had our first pump. Now we have in our pullback. We're expecting it to hit the trend line here and then continue its move up. Deep space. What up, Carson? Deep space. Let me see deep space real quick. All right, deep space. But once again, guys, it's like comes down to what they're building, what they're putting in there, right? I think deep space is. Let's see here. We got to play the game. I haven't played the deep space game, right? Let's see here. Yo, Steven, what's up, brother? All right, Deep Space Explore, yada yada. Welcome to Deep Space on Ethereum, BNB. Welcome to Space Day. Yeah, I'd have to play this. I haven't played this yet, guys. But these are the things that we'll start doing as we move forward and get in there. Let's take a look at. Now, the other thing is the good thing about Deep Space is it's not on any markets, right? Did come out back in 2020. I remember when this came out, right? So 80 cents down to like 0. So what they did is sold off all their tokens. They've taken the money and now they need to build a project, right? So the question is, are they going to build a good project? And then I would need a little more information on their coin and so forth, right? So for here, I'd probably jump over to Twitter. And it's got 20,000 followers. That isn't bad, right? Let me follow that. I'm gonna come back over here. We'll take a peek at this. Now, I'm glad you bring up Deep Space. I was also looking at like UFO gaming the other day. But we'll take a look at this. I want to do some Web3 games. Talk about Grok. Some Grok. I want to talk about some Grok. What do you guys think of Grok, guys? Meow, meow, blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. This is the one we're looking at right here, Grok. What is Grok at right now? I'm still bullish on Grok, been going up and down. All right, let's take a look at the overall. Grok. So Grok broke out 2 cents. So yeah, 29 cents, 29, 2.9, 20. What does it say here? So we got the 2 cents, top at 2 cents. To me, where's our circulating supply here? Okay, so max supplies, oof, 6.9 trillion. Eef, that's a lot, bro. Hmm. This the right croak, man? That's the right one, right? Croak, 5/100 of a penny. Okay, so okay. Let's look at their exchanges, right? So they're on MEXC, they're on Bitmart, right? But you need to be on. There's BitTrue. You need BitX, and you need what else? Oh, Jupiter. I'm not seeing. There's two more exchanges that they can get to. Um, BingX, right? They're not on BingX. BingX is big for these type of coin. And Bitmart, right? Bitmart. I see a Bitmart. You see a Bitmart on here? I don't see a Bitmart. All right, so you have two possibilities. Oh, there's Bitmart. So Bitmart, BingX. Um, what's that other one we sign up, man? Um, what is it? I'm missing two exchanges here, right? So you have possibilities here, right? Sorry, I think that is the right one. It's at 5 cents. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So at the end of the day, it's big pushes. The problem is, let's see the website, right? Let's go to the website. That's what you're talking about right here, redirecting the website, V2 in 3 seconds. Do, do, do. Okay, and Grok, this is what we're talking about right here, this dude? Grok. Grok is establishing a community of Grok AI enthusiasts who want to save the world and love making memes while doing it. All right. So my question would be like, AC list broke December. So you had couple big listings there, but they're short on a couple of them. The question is like, how do they make money? Right? Elon Musk. I mean, it's a nice website. I'll tell you that much. That looks really good. Ecosystem. Okay, where to buy Grok, Gate, Bitmart, uh, tokenomics. Okay, operates token-based system, facilitates transactions, various features, services empowering users to grow more AI experience. Market cap 31 million, no tax. Circulating supply 6.6 billion of the 1 trillion, right? That's got a long way to go there. Okay. Disclaimer: Grok has no associates with X or Elon Musk. So it's simply about creating a meme culture out of the nice product. Grok is a meme coin, no expectation of financial return. This is no formal team or There is no formal team or roadmap. The token for entertainment purpose only. So I mean, right there, I understand why they wrote that, even though if they're going to be building on it. But they have to say all that because it's like they're avoiding the SEC and all that shit. But I mean, just build it out in the UK. Um, mm, I just don't know where it makes money. Like if I'm buying Grok, like how do I market Grok, right? That's kind of what I would be thinking to myself. Like I'll take a look at this and dig in a little bit more because Grok has been around and everything. But my whole thing is like, how do I make money on like just buy it and hold it? You know what I'm saying? There's no purpose in there. All right, let's go back over here. All right, getting our bounces. Power has a trade here. Innovative concepts. What up, bro? All right, so let's get into. I gotta post this in the Discord. All right, so we need to get all the new people in here. Let me get some class time. Over here, I need to create an event, and we got 4 o'clock. You hungry, babe? there. Come on. All right, BC, let's create an event. All right, so when we have 1 hour trade sessions Thursday at 11 o'clock. All right, so let's create a new event. It's going to be on the voice channel. We're going to go to live trade next. This is new people onboarding. Okay. Control copy. / and system basics. Na 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 na. All right, we will start January 16th. This will happen at 7 p.m. This will repeat weekly on Tuesday. We'll post that and create an event. And there we go. New people onboarding. Okay, share. Got the link. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let me set up this recording there. And for Carlos, we appreciate you coming in, big dog, sharing some tips.